Hey, what is going on? I guess I'm live. Suppose I'm live here. Luke Hart. So this is just going to be like a basic little hangout thing tonight. I just on a whim decided to go live. We were going to create an adventure tonight together for one of my games, but I decided that it's getting kind of late and I don't know how long that would take, so we will save that until next Friday. But tonight we're just gonna have some hangout stuff going on. So I also, hey, what's going on, Maniac? I also have got a new like OBS studio thing going on that I'm testing out, and so part of this is also going to be me goofing around with my setup here, just trying to get things looking sweet and whatnot. So there'll be a little bit of that, but I don't really have any super plans for this all. I just want to kind of see who shows up and what we end up doing and whatnot. So I'm gonna pop my chat out here, and I think there's a way here for me to tell who the participants are. It looks like it is the DM Lair and the Maniac. What is going on, Maniac? How is it going, man? I can see participants. This is awesome. Woo! Halloween murder mystery one shot. Would that? Yeah, dude. Heck yeah. Why not? I mean, you know, Halloween comes along once a year. You might as well do something. It's a good... I mean, I did like a... I think it was around last Christmas time. I did sort of a Christmassy themed thing. It wasn't super much Christmas. I guess the extent of the Christmas theme was there were some undead that were carrying like chains and stuff. And like, you know, kind of like from the Christmas Carol, that one dude with all the chains and stuff. Hey, what's up, Paul? How's it? Oh, man. Good to see you, buddy. So I did like this Christmas themed one. And oh, then there was some flute like I think there's a Christmas thing where there's a boy playing a flute or something. I think that's like a Christmas theme. And so I also had like you know, along with those undead with like the chains and stuff, there were little boys that were playing flutes, Pied Piper boys or something, and they were controlling the undead, and it was pretty cool. It ended in a TPK for the Christmas themed campaign one shot. It wasn't a one shot, it was part of the normal campaign. I just threw some monsters in that had a Christmas theme is all. So that was pretty sweet. Yeah, well, like what kind of stuff are you thinking for your Halloween murder mystery one shot? Oh, here's a question too. Do you play Maniac like in person, or do you play online, like over like Roll20 or something like that? Drink a coffee right there, and I was curious. I wish I could see all these things at once. Now this is interesting. So now it says that the participants are the DM Lair and the Maniac. In person at a table. Awesome. But see, Paul said hi. I guess I'm still trying to learn the ropes here on these things. This is interesting. I wonder why. Oh well. In person at a table. I've always played in person at a table myself. I've never played online ever at all. But I hear a lot of like most of the time when I hear people talk about playing online, there's like it seems like the groups fizzle out really quickly or stuff like that. I don't know. It might be a dynamic of online play or something. I have no idea, but that's what I heard. So is this going to be your murder mystery? Will this be part of like your ongoing campaign where they'll just do a little one shot? Will you kind of work it into what you're doing, or just kind of tell them, hey guys, we're going to put a hold on the current things and just do a one shot, maybe with new characters or something like that? Like, what did you have in mind? Well, that's interesting. See, it says I got 3 people watching, and it only lists the 2 of us as participants. I wonder, yeah, there's probably something going on there, and like the YouTube thing, where like if you don't tell people, if you don't like let yourself be publicly known as a subscriber or something, it doesn't show you, or there's some sort of incognito mode or something. All right, planning to have my players be a part of a detective agency that's possibly on its last case. Interesting. Okay. So that agency would like reach out to your players for help or something solving that case. Okay, cool. What level will the characters be? Now I had a thing. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Oops. Let's see if this works. See, that doesn't work. There's supposedly a way for me to show the chat on my screen here, but I could never get it to work. So I'll just... That's so lame. You guys can't see the chat like on screen, can you? Like overlaying my own video. I'm trying to figure out my OBS Studio stuff as we do this here. This was an unplanned impromptu live stream with some selfish motivations. I don't think, for me, it just says this video is unavailable, so I don't think it's working properly. You know, let me try something though. I'm gonna try copying that URL for that chat right there, and then I'm gonna update that bad boy right there, and see if that does anything. That doesn't look like it. Oh, it did. Oh, it worked. Haha. All right, I figured that out. Nice. I got that to work. Now my actual video is like all messed up. Let me see. Well, that's not gonna do anything. Whoops. Oops. I'm clicking things. I'm messing things up. Sorry. This is partially a test tonight, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. All right. He says, totally separate from my regular game, and the players are level 5. Awesome. Level 5. That's when they get, correct me if I'm wrong, level 5 is when they get 3rd level spells, I believe. Is that right? That sounds about right. So that's a good place to start. So people will just start getting some of these like really cool spells. So I like starting. So when I run at conventions, I run level 5 characters at conventions, and it's primarily for that reason. I want them to start getting some of their cool abilities, right? So they feel like, oh, this is sweet. Because a lot of times, see, when I've been a player at conventions, we almost always start out at level 1, and it just is like, okay, I'm level 1, I got hardly any hit points, I'm gonna die really quickly, and I don't have access to any spells, and I don't have my special abilities or anything, so it's kind of just like, blah. You know. So like when I run at conventions, I want people to start out with some meat, you know, some abilities, some spells, and stuff like that to have some actual fun. So I totally like the idea that it's starting at level 5. Game Master Vault, what up, dude? How's it going? Hello, hola, nerds. Hey, ¿qué tal, hombre? ¿Cómo estás? Estás aquí porque nadie tiene nada que ver, nada que hacer hoy, ¿verdad? Todos estamos en la casa, ¿verdad? Nerdos y todo. All right, sweet. You start speaking Spanish, man. I'm gonna reciprocate. There we go. Paul, what is going on? Let me see. Let me do something real quick here to my camera. I just want to scooch myself over a little bit. Is this working? I think this is working. I don't think that's working. I'm scooching something over. I don't think I'm scooching. I'm messing around in OBS Studio. Sorry guys, you'll have to bear with me here. I'm trying to scooch some stuff over. There we go. Can I scooch that guy over? You want to scooch over for me? It's not doing anything. What is this guy doing? Oh, I see what I'm doing. It's selecting my background thingy. There's got to be a way for me to select. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna hide a couple things here. My ticker text and my ticker background. That's my video. Is that my video? That's still not my video. Man. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm goofing around with stuff. And it's still selecting that stuff. Oh, you know what I can do? I'll put this stuff back up, and then I'll lock it. I'll lock everything. Oh, you know what? That's why I can't move it, because I have it locked. Alright. Sorry. Josh, what's going on, dude? Good to see you, man. I'm glad you can make it. Princess K is in the house. Awesome. I know you guys have been writing some stuff up there, Paul. I'll get to you in a moment here, man. I want to get this stuff figured out here, because like this. No, not that part. This part of my like shoulder's getting cut off, and so I just want to scooch my video over like one of these ways. Everything's like reversed here, so I'm just trying to figure this guy out, and then we will. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. I got skills. I got some skills. All right, sweetness. There we go. We are in business. See, now I got the YouTube chat over here. I wonder if that's going to be big enough for folks, but oh well. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to play around with this, guys, because I wonder if, like, in the future with people who watch replays and stuff, if having that chat, I'm pointing at the wrong side, it's over here, having this chat up here will be helpful for people watching on the replay, you know what I'm saying, where they'll like be able to follow along with the conversation. So I'm just trying to get things kind of figured out. And I got that ticker kind of going on there too. That's pretty cool. I got some stuff going on. All right, let's read some stuff here. All right, Maniac, we'll see you in a little bit. Dun 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 dun. All right, so Paul was saying some stuff. Paul says, me and friends play a lot using Facebook group pages, and you can use Facebook Instant Messenger for private secret stuff. The longest game is over 2 years. Some last a good while, so that is interesting. So just using Facebook group pages. So you're using it for, do you guys do like, Paul, do you guys do like video at all? Like so you can see each other's faces? Any type of voice at all? Or is it purely just text-based using Facebook groups? And then, so I imagine you have a group going and you're like, as the Dungeon Master, whoever's the Dungeon Master, are you the Dungeon Master? I guess you guys you just kind of have a chat going and text-based or something, and then you can send each other messages on the side. Is that kind of how you guys do it, or do you do something else? And I probably should have read the rest of your messages because you might actually talk. You might actually say something about that. All right, let's see. Paul says we got like 6 peeps in the U.S. coast to coast, some Canadian, and 4 at least from Europe. Time is when we post, respond, post. Oh, he actually. So I didn't read the rest of Paul's messages. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have had to ask him so many questions. He explained. We post, respond, post. Okay. We don't. No. Okay. Yeah. So it's like a play by post thing. I used to do play by post back when I lived in Honduras in Central America, because there weren't any people down there that played D&D. And I tried to play D&D down there, but I was told. So I was like a missionary down in Central America and Honduras for 4 years. So I met my wife actually, and I took her home with me. But I tried to start playing Dungeons and Dragons down there, and the church that I was a missionary for like told me, Luke, you can't play that game. It's not a good game. Whatever. You guys probably have heard all that stuff before. You're familiar with all that stuff. So I couldn't play it down there like officially. So I did play by post for like I think two or 3 years or something like that. So it was lots of fun. Anyway, that is my play by post story. Let me see. Game Master Vault says, I only know enough Spanish to get my butt kicked in some back alley somewhere. Awesome. Yeah, my cat is like crying. So tonight you might get a rare treat, and Squeaky will jump up on the back of my chair here, and he'll help run this live stream. So there we go. So if you're just joining me, guys, there's no real plan for tonight. This is kind of a hangout thing, answering questions, talking about D&D. It doesn't matter. I was bored, and I didn't really have an official live stream plan for tonight, and I was just like, you know what, let's just hop on. I've been playing around with this OBS stuff, so I got some cool crap going on here, and I was like, I'll just jump on and just see what's going on. So next week on the live stream is like an official live stream, and we're going to be creating an adventure together for one of my campaigns that I run at work. And I'm pretty sure one of the guys that's in my game at work is probably going to be on, like, figuring stuff out, you know. And what we're going to do next week, too, is we are going to create an adventure together, like live, right, from beginning to end. Because I did a video a while ago on how to create an adventure, but I didn't actually, like, walk through it and stuff. So we're going to do that live together, like, interactively. Like, I'll be asking you guys, like, what do you guys want to do? What kind of encounter? Give me some ideas for stuff, you know. Like, I have an outline, like a bare bones outline of what needs to happen. Not needs to happen, but, like, what the situation will be, because it's an established campaign already, and the next thing that the players are going to get nudged into doing, I kind of have an idea of what that's going to be, right? And so we're gonna work within some, like, pretty wide frameworks, but we're gonna create an adventure together. And then that's next week, right? And then once we're done doing that, I am going to, you know, put it out there for download, and then everybody can just download it and, you know, use it if you want to, I guess. So that's next week, though. Today we're just gonna goof around. I mean, the standard thing, if you got a question, give me like a hashtag caps question mark, throw it up there, and we'll talk about stuff. But no plans for tonight. We're just going to be hanging out, talking and stuff about D&D. Because apparently all 9 of us that are on right now have nothing better to do on a Friday night than be on our phones or something talking about D&D, which is totally cool because, yeah, but what else are you going to do, right? Except for play D&D with your friends, because that'd be pretty cool to do on a Friday night. All right, let's take a look at some more chat. Princess K is throwing me like evil devil's faces and a beer mug. Woo, a beer mug. Would that be a bad thing on YouTube? Like a YouTube video if I actually am drinking beer? You know what? I'll just put it in the mug if it comes to that, right? That's the safe way to go. We write weird stuff. What's going on? We write weird stuff. So we write weird stuff is one of my patrons. Thank you. We write weird stuff for contributing to this awesome channel. If you guys are interested in my Patreon stuff, there's a link down in the description for it. You can go over there and toss me a couple bucks or something. There are some perks and good stuff you get out of it if you are interested in that. If not, no worries. Just keep on watching. Move your chair. You want me to move my chair? Paul's telling me to move my chair. No voice or mics? Just oh! Okay, I thought you were telling me my mic's not working. You're just, okay, you guys are just doing it by text. Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. So, We Write Weird Stuff says, the chat appears as it was in the time of the original video when we watch after the fact. Yeah, it will. And, like, I'm, like, way behind now, probably. So, it's not gonna... But see, Paul... I mean, not Paul. John, what I'm trying to do is... So, you can see on screen that I have, like... Not that way. That way. Everything's backwards to me. You can see on screen that I have the live chat going. And so the goal is that if you're watching it on the replay, you can see the live chat as well. So that's kind of what I'm going for. I don't know if it's going to work very well. This is going to be a test, and we're going to see how it goes. But that's what I'm going for here. Game Master's Vault says, I use Facebook pages for my groups as well, but not for the game itself. All right, sweet. Oh, so you use like Facebook pages to like take care of like out offline stuff. Like if you guys were gonna. If you needed to talk about something about the game or whatever, you would like store that on Facebook groups and pages and stuff. Not like actually to run the game, but kind of like having a forum where you can talk about junk. Is that what you're saying, man? So it sounds like Paul is answering a question that I asked a while ago. And he probably answered it a while ago, and I'm just getting caught up. He says, I've run 2, but they fizzled it. So it sounds like Paul ran a couple online games, maybe, and they fizzled. Yeah, you know, I don't know what it is, guys. Like, I keep hearing every time the conversation comes up about online games, there seems to be like a reoccurring theme that they just kind of like sputter out or something. But I suspect that's online games with like groups of strangers because there's not as much a commitment or expectation that you're going to come back the next time. I don't know. I know John has run, he told me once that he was running an online game for a group of his friends because they all like moved to different places and it worked really, really well. He was telling me about how like if somebody spoke a different language, like maybe it was like they're speaking in Draconic, like they could type in what they were saying in Draconic and it would only show up in like actual English text to other players that spoke Draconic. Anybody else, it would show up as Garblygook. I don't know if that was like Roll20 or what he was using. So there are definitely some cool features of online gaming that would be cool. So yeah, let's see what we got going on here. I'm just reading through chat, guys. I mean, you guys are in control of what we do tonight and what we talk about. Otherwise, I'm just going to blabber on, you know, and I'm just going to scroll through chat and read it because I don't have any plans. This is just a hangout with you guys. So I'm here hanging out with you guys. So Paul says play by post. Because if you don't have any questions, it might get boring with me just reading your stuff and talking to you. I don't know. Maybe that'll be fun. I'm having fun so far. Basically play by post, but we're all on. We can get some turns in pretty quick once in a while. But your European DM is 9 hours ahead of me on the West Coast. He is up pretty late sometimes. Okay, sweet. Yeah, John, you're gonna get the next Friday's live stream. You'll get the secret scoop on what's going on in our campaign. John is in my what do you want to call it? What do you call that? He's in my game. He's in one of my groups, my D&D groups. And we're going to be creating an adventure for his game that he's in. So he's going to be getting an inside scoop. But that's okay. He's a good role player. I trust him to ignore it. Game Master's Vault says, my players are going to an abandoned dragon's lair next week. Gonna run some Tucker's Kobolds kind of thing plus some giant spiders against them. Sweet.
That's awesome, man. Tucker's Kobold stuff. So that reminds me, we're over on my Discord. We are currently in the process of creating basically a Tucker's Kobold thing. And there's this one dude. I'm gonna do some mad skills right here, and check this stuff out. Bam, ba bam, ba bam, ba bam, bam, and there we go. Check this out. I just popped us over to my newfangled layout, where this is my Discord, and we have on my Discord the Kobold. Is it the Kobold Lair? Yes, the Kobold Lair. So somebody had an idea. I forget who it was, but somebody had an idea over one of my other Discord channels over here to, and this is interesting. Oh, you can see my mouse. Good. That's how it's supposed to work. So, the top of my head's getting cut off too. I need to like fix that. Anyway, somebody had an idea that we should create like an adventure along the lines of Tucker's Kobolds. And so I don't remember who it was. I like to give credit. But we are doing just that. I mean, I'm saying we. I'm actually not doing a lot of the work. This dude right here, Fortuna, is kicking butt. I mean, this guy gets mad props, mad shouts outs all over the place because he is like carrying this thing right here. Just tons of contributions, tons of great ideas. And I mean, there are lots of people chiming in, right? So I don't want to like, say that other people aren't helping, but like, lots of people are chiming in and stuff, and we got some really sweet ideas going on for Tucker's Kobold stuff. And you can see here, he took the time. Check this out. He made a stinking map, okay, of the Titanium mine. And you can see here we got like a little type of map going on and stuff. And we're just building out like a Tucker's Kobold dungeon. And so there are certain assumptions that we're making with this as well. One of the things, he's got the rules on the map. So they're like right here. I don't know how well you guys can all see this stuff. It's kind of small on my display when I'm looking at my like 1080 display or whatever, but we can only have 20 kobolds. This is an adventure for level 20 characters. The challenge is to use only 20 kobolds who have not been beefed up at all, who are just normal CR. I think they're 1/4 or 1/8 kobolds. Maybe it's 1/4. Have not been beefed up at all. There are only 20 of them in the entire dungeon, and the goal is to challenge a group of level 20 characters. Now, obviously, the kobolds are going to be using traps and diabolical devices and stuff like that, because otherwise, how are you going to challenge a group of like level 20 characters? So that's the challenge. That's what we're doing here, and we have like the first level kind of like made up, and we have. I mean, you can see we have the gauntlet. We have there are a bunch of warning signs out front, and then we have the gauntlet, and then there's the rift room where there's this like bridge, and the whole thing is that somehow the bridge falls down. I think we had illusionary like what do you call them, boards or something? I don't remember what all the details are. My memory's horrible. But eventually the idea is that the players would fall down here, and then there's the elevator. Okay, so one of the guiding principles too in this like mine is that there's a bunch of like fake traps. I mean, they're real traps. They do a little bit of damage, but they're meant to lure the characters into a sense of false security, and then they get hit with these real traps. Now the elevator is insane. Like, I forget what it was. I think it's like, I have to go read it. But like, you get in the elevator and it takes you back up, but it's only activated if you use electrical something or in the control panel or something. I forget what it was. But the elevator basically is just like going up and down, and just starts going like crazy, doing like damage and bludgeoning and stuff. And there are probably more sinister details in there that I'm forgetting at the moment. You get out of that, and then we have a glyph puzzle room. I don't remember the details on that. A big donut. I don't know what that is. It looks like two big massive balls that revolve, that go around in a circle, and you got to get through there. And then there's a Dagobah cave. I don't remember the details of all those things. But point is that we are getting things pretty cool. So that was a nice tangent for you, but I wanted to show you guys that because I'm really excited about this Tucker's Kobold thing. Well, it's our Kobold thing now. And the reason I'm excited about this is because when I told these guys, like, when we started this, like, all the way at the top here, where I posted some stuff about this, yeah, it's way up here somewhere, anywhere. Yeah, I told them that, if we get this all set and this adventure done, then I'm going to run this at my table, because right now I have a group that's at level 20. Right now I'm running them through some crazy stuff in like the 9 hells. But if we get this all set, I will run this adventure for my players at my table. And I put that all on YouTube and my other channel, the DM Lair Actual Play. But I'll run this for my group at the table. And also, I also publish adventures over on DriveThruRPG. There's like a link in the description if you want to check those out. But I will also publish this bad boy over on DriveThruRPG. It'll probably be, I mean, I don't know. It'll probably be like a free one or something. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it a whole lot. But, you know, but definitely if we get this thing all fleshed out, it's really cool, then we're going to do something with this, because I'm really excited. This is cool. Anyway, that was a long story, but I think the final point that I want to make is if you guys want to get out on this and help us out and create this bad boy, then head on over to my Discord server. I think there's a link down in the description for you, and go to the Kobold Lair and then chime in on this stuff, because we got some really cool. And the other thing too is that, you know, if we do end up publishing this and whatnot or something, whoever works on this thing and contributes ideas is going to get like credits and crap like that. So at the very least. So anyway, it's like a collaborative little project. It's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. So there we go. Let's pop back over to my full camera view. Bam, there we go. And I'm gonna pull back up. I'm gonna pull up my YouTube thing again so I can see. I've probably fallen way behind on chat, and so now we're gonna spend a few moments with Luke getting caught up on chat, since he's been going on and on about his little kobold dungeon that I'm doing a small portion of the work on, and other people are carrying the load. All right, let's see. Oh, Ted's on. What's up, Ted? How's it going, man? I'm like at the bottom of the chat. I'll give shout outs as I scroll up to find out where I left off. Fierce Mushroom, what's going on, dude? You were here last time. I think Fierce, the last time we did a live stream, we extended the live stream by like at least a half an hour because you were just getting out of work. But this is a later live stream now, so hopefully that is. I hope you're home and stuff. Yeah. All right. Let me see. We write weird stuff. Losers of Friday night on the computer, dude. I've spent Friday nights on the computer since I was in high school, man. It's, you know, I avoided lots of trouble in my life by being on the computer on Friday nights. I think. Drink away. That's what I'm doing. Game Master's Vault says I was going to throw on some tunes and work on crafting a giant spider pit trap. Nice. Saw you around. Well, we can still craft that. What are you trying to do? A giant spider pit trap, like in real life or like in your game? Are you trying to do that? Actually, I should move this thing down right here. There we go. The Maniac is back. Welcome back. Google Wave. All right. Fierce. All right. I'm getting caught up here. I'm getting there. If you guys got questions, you guys got stuff you want to talk about, throw it up here. Remember, this live stream is for you guys, just hanging out, shooting the crap, talking D&D and stuff. That's what we're doing tonight. Nothing planned, really. This was an impromptu decision to just hang out with y'all. So this live stream will go as long or as late as we all can handle it, I think. So, Paul says, for post-play, you have to be cool with the turnaround time and not worried about it being line. A turn could take a while. Like one turn of combat could take a few days. Yeah. So when I was doing play-by-post, what I did is when we were not in combat, it was just kind of relaxed. You know, people could chime in when they wanted to. Every couple of days, I would see who had said stuff and what they were doing, and then I would make like an update post. And like I'm a writer, like I studied writing in college and stuff like that. So I would make these like legitimate like written like stories and crap. Everybody would like chime in with their posts about what they were going to do, and then I would like write this like boom story crap, you know, of what everybody was doing with like description and stuff, like you're reading a book and some crap. So that's what I would do. But then when we got into actual combat, then what I would say to everybody is you have 2 days to state what you're doing, right? And then every other day, you know, I would make an update to combat, and then I'd write my little book thing describing what everybody did, you know, and then everybody would get 2 more days to describe what they're going to do, and then that's how I would run combat. So, because otherwise, if you don't put some sort of time limit on combat, it would run forever by play-by-post, and people would forget what's going on and all that kind of stuff. But that took me a long time. Every couple of days, I'd be spending at least a couple hours writing all of this, updating the map, uploading it to this. We had this forum where we did it all on. But it was fun. I remember it was fun. That's all I had, and that's actually how I started playing 3.5. So I started playing 2nd edition like in high school, and then a little bit in college. But then I was down in Honduras when I started playing 3.5, and we did it play by post. It was lots of fun. Things are jumping around on me. Kobolds. We don't need no stinking kobolds. We start level 1 Tarask. Yeah, level 1 Tarask. Yes, traps are fun. You know, I personally like traps. I enjoy traps. I don't use them a whole lot because I really want the players to kind of get lured into this sense of like, there are never any traps in Luke's dungeons. We're just going to kind of go along without checking things. And then, boom, they hit a trap. Oh, I have like a house rule that I do for like traps and secret doors too. That you have to actively search for them. Because traps and secret doors in my games are so rare, they don't happen very often. And when they do occur, I usually give like some sort of subtle flavor description that would clue you off that there might be a trap or something there. And so I don't use passive perception to find traps or secret doors. I have like a house rule where I make the players actually have to search for them. So it's a little bit more meaningful for them. Because otherwise, somebody's always got a really high passive perception in my games. So if they're just always walking along and bing, 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 spidey sense, there's a trap right there. It takes a lot of like the excitement away from it, I think. And so that's a little house rule I made about that. But I use traps sparingly, and then when I do, I try to make them meaningful or insidious or something, I think. Because I like it to be like a oh crap, there's a trap, and we all were lured into a sense of false confidence. So, but yeah, traps are awesome. Definitely love traps. Love traps. Good traps should be more puzzle than surprise landmine. I agree. You know, Fierce, I totally agree with you, dude. I think one of the reasons I don't like the traditional trap is that a trap is more like a DM gotcha. It's like, you know, you're walking along, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, you know, fire and spikes and acid pits and stuff, and everybody's just like, oh crap, that sucked. And what are you gonna do? Roll your save, roll your dex save, roll your constitution save, you know, and then take damage or take half damage. It's like, again, there's nothing interesting about just walking along and then all of a sudden, boom, you take damage. You know, that's like a DM screw job, you know, almost in a way. And so at the very least, what I do for traps is, I made a whole video on traps and how to make traps better. You can find it on my page and crap. But one of the things I like to use is something I call the click rule. And the click rule is really when you're walking along and they spring a trap, I just tell my players, click. What do? And they have to very quickly explain to me what they're doing in response. Actually, usually what I say, I actually give them a little bit of description. Let's say they're walking along, and I say something to the person in the front. I'm like, you feel the floor below you depress slightly. What do? And then he'll say something like, I jump backwards. And then I'll go around the table and I'll ask everybody, what do you do? I flatten myself against the wall. I curl up in a ball. I jump through the doorway. And then depending upon what actions they take, I'll kind of think about the trap and how their actions affect their saving throw. For instance, if there are blades that come out of the walls and they fell flat to the ground, they might get advantage on their saving throw. If there are blades or if there are spikes that come out of the floor, right, and they fall flat to the ground, they might get disadvantage on their saving throw. And so what I try to do with this, I call it the click rule. I don't call it the click rule. I actually found this on the internet somewhere. Somebody else had this idea, and I'm like, that is an awesome idea, and I took it. But it's called the click rule because it gives the players a little bit of control over what happens to them. Because that's the problem with traditional traps. They take away player agency. So that players, I make a saving throw and that's all I can do, but I don't have any decision in how this trap affects me. What the click rule does is it puts some of that agency back in the players. And depending upon how they react to the trap going off, and I don't tell them what the trap is, I just simply explain the floor depresses beneath you, or you hear some machinery in the walls kind of turning. It gives some of that control back to them so they're in control of their fate a little bit more. Sometimes they completely avoid the trap by their decisions. Sometimes they get disadvantaged, sometimes they get advantage. Sometimes it's a straight roll if it doesn't really affect anything. But I definitely at the very least do that with
all of my traps because it makes the traps so much more interesting than just boom, make a saving throw, you take damage. And I have some other things I do to traps to spice them up as well. But that's a super easy thing you can do to any trap, right, to make it better and not suck quite as much. There we go. That was my diatribe. Is that the right word? My discourse on traps. All right, let's see. Let's read some more comments. Woo! All right. Dun. Ted Burger says, "Oh, hamburger. Oh man. Oh, I'm hungry, dude. I'm sure you hear a lot of that with your name and stuff. I'm not trying to make fun of your name. Well, maybe a little bit. Ted's in one of my groups, by the way. He is in my Sword Coast Guard group, so I get to bust his chops a little bit. That is the consequence of being a player in one of my groups. You get your chops busted a little bit. But I would definitely go for like a nice, Five Guys Burger and Fries. Oh my gosh, if you guys have not been to Five Guys Burger and Fries, if you got one of those things near you, they've got the best hamburgers and fries made fresh, like before you and stuff. Absolutely amazing. After, like, my wife and I never want to go to anywhere else to get hamburgers because, like, that place is, like, it puts hamburgers way up here on a pedestal. And then if you go anywhere else, any other restaurant and get hamburgers, it's like, meh. So anyway, I don't know. Sorry, man. Your name just got me off on hamburgers. Now I'm hungry. All right. We are not losers. We're fans of a good show. Yeah. There you go. Whee. Question. Oh. Question from Mr. Berger. How can I convince my DM, who is a great guy, to give us a deck of many things at our next session? That will not happen. That will never happen. That will happen when you are level 19, about to hit level 20. That will happen in the treasure pile from the last big bad that you will ever fight before you go to Curse of Strahd. You will get the deck of many things, and you will be about to pull out the first card, and then I will cutscene away to a transition to our next campaign. So, you will get it, but you won't be able to use it. How does that sound? Ted has been bugging me for the deck of many things for, like, ever. And he's not going to get it. Alright, Game Master's Vault says, Spider Pit Trap. In the Dragon's audience room, once the PCs get to the center, the floor gives away. Yep. They fall 30 feet to a large spider web. A giant spider comes out for a meal. That's fun. That's fun. What was I going to say? What level are they? What level are your PCs? That would be cool. Or Driders even. Ooh, Driders? Because Driders have some nasty bow skills. They could be shooting arrows and stuff out at them. Ettercaps. Ettercaps are really cool as well. But that's a really cool trap. So the trap isn't necessarily that you take damage from falling or anything like that. It's that you get dropped into a spider web. That is a trap that's probably going to get stolen by me at some point in time, because that is a good idea, dude. Okay, We Write Weird Stuff has a question. See how I have to censor his name? I have to censor your name, John, for the live stream, man. One of these days I'm going to mispronounce. I actually was listening to a video today. I listened to lots of videos about, like, YouTube and making YouTube videos and crap like that. And the guys were saying that it's pretty much been shown that using profanity in your YouTube videos, like, lowers your reach and could trigger, like, demonetization and crap like that. So, whatever. I don't know. So I can't say your name, buddy. Besides which, my wife will yell at me if I say that word. All right. Somebody had a question. I think my chat's, like, jumping around on me here. Oh, you know what? I want to see who... This will tell me who the participants are at some... This is crazy! Like, I keep looking at the participants list, and it keeps on saying that I and the Maniac are the only ones here. That's weird, and other people are commenting. So, I don't know what that's all about. Let's see. I keep getting distracted by things. We Write Weird Stuff. How do you feel about extra player races? My players love playing non-humans, but with the Ravinica book coming up, we're looking at a lot of possible races and the potential for unexpected OP synergy. Yeah! Giddy up, OP synergy. I think that is just it's a natural consequence of having splat books. I mean, the more splat books you get, the more different options you get, you are going to have things that will just, you know, create that synergy and that OP-ness, right?
because the game designers, it's really hard. So let's just imagine that you have a group of, let's just call them 50 game designers, let's just say, right? And then they have some testing groups as well, you know. I mean, they can test all that stuff and all, they can test combinations out and stuff to their heart's content in their development cycle. And I don't even know how much time they even they can dedicate to that sort of thing. I don't know. But they can test all that stuff out. But when you put those books into the hands of like thousands of players, right? And some of these guys are like, I swear, some of these guys, that's all they do is sit there and like analyze all the different little fiddly bits and stuff and figure out how they all fit together to create some like crazy awesome player or PC character thingy, right? And so no matter how much they try to balance things, the more splat books you have, the more people are going to be able to figure out how to get them to like go together in weird ways that give you this crazy build and stuff. So how do I feel about it? I mean, I think as a dungeon master, I mean, I like giving my players options and stuff because it's fun for them. It keeps the game interesting. When I'm a player, the things that's interesting to me is building my character, right, and doing cool things with it and different like options and combinations and stuff, and I'll get tired with a certain character. Like when I'm a player, I don't mind dying at all. Like the DM could kill me every other game session, and I wouldn't mind a whole lot as long as I can start at the same level, because then I just roll up a new character, right? So I wouldn't mind that. But part of the fun for me as a player is building a character and just making it interesting or something, playing it for a while, and then maybe running a new character or something. So having those options is good. As far as how to balance the OP stuff, I mean, it's a case-by-case thing. It's a conversation you have with your players. Like, if a player is doing things that are just making that character like super, super powerful, then I just have a discussion with them. You know, I say, hey, dude, you know, blah, 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 blah. You're taking like the crossbow feats and stuff and putting it with a fighter, the battle master, and you're doing these things, and it's like, you know, it's unbalancing things. Now, I usually don't have, unless something, there's no such thing as balance among characters. First of all, paladins are like way up here in the power scale. Rangers, the traditional ranger is probably down here or something, right? Wizards start out maybe down here, and then over their career gradually get more and more powerful, whereas other things might lag behind, you know, so there's no real balance at all. So having things be a little overpowered doesn't really bother me too much, as long as it's not exaggerated. Like there's this one spell in Xanathar's that came out where you basically, I forget the name of the spell, but it's you cast this little like healing thing, and if you use this healing thing out of combat, basically it lasts for a minute, and you can have your entire party run around in a circle through this healing area, and pretty much everybody gets healed for like all their hit points. And I think it's like a second level spell or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember all the details. I don't even remember the name of it, to be honest with you. I just remember reading about it. Actually, one of my players brought it to me, and he's like, dude, look at this spell. Can you believe this spell? And then he explained to me the loophole. If you use that spell in combat, it's not super overpowered. Out of combat, it's like, boom, long rest, baby. So there are things like that I'll see in a splat book, and I'll just be like, hey, heads up, guys. No, this isn't going to work. There's also another thing in Xanathar's. It's like an elven proficiency. Elven accuracy, I think is what it's called. And it basically gives elves some way or another, like, we dub it double advantage, where you get to, like, roll your dice, right? 2 d20s, and then you can pick the lowest one, I think, and re-roll it or something like that. Or you can roll 3 of them. I forget the details. But, like, we were talking about that at my Sword Coast Guard group once, and we were like, that's ridiculous. We were talking about that healing thing. We're like, that's ridiculous. So there are some things that come out in splat books where I'm just like, no. But I try not to do that too much. For the most part, I prefer to let my players try it out. See, if I have concerns, I will tell the player up front, look at, I was looking over your character sheet and I'm looking at this stuff and I'm not sure how this is going to work. Let's just try this out and see how it goes, because I'd rather try it out at the table for a few game sessions and see if it's really a problem before I just say no to the player. And then even then, it's more of a conversation. I want to make sure the player understands why whatever it is a problem or something, and then we can kind of try to figure it out ourselves, you know what I mean? But I don't want to limit play. If I can avoid limiting them, especially if it's like player options, races, classes, and stuff like that, I avoid limiting those things as much as possible. That was a long answer to a simple question, but maybe that was helpful for some folks. All right. Okay, Game Master's Vault says... we're going to be doing... By the way, we were talking about... John mentioned Ravinica. He and I are going to be doing a review on the Ravinica book, too, when it comes out. So John is a Magic player, and he's been really excited about Ravinica. So I know nothing about Magic. I've never played it before. I know nothing about Ravinica. So he's going to be coming on my channel as a guest to do a review on Ravinica when that comes out. So that'll be fun. Game Master Vault says if they cut or burn through the web, they fall another 40 feet. That's awesome. So they just cut through and they fall 40 feet into another web or something, and there can be more spiders and stuff down there. At the very bottom, there's like a pit of acid or something. That'd be cool. The Maniac says, I'm only 15 and I've been playing D&D for 3 years, almost 4 years. That's awesome, man. I run a campaign for 4 kids who are like, I want to say they're 12 or 13 at this point, maybe 14-ish. I started playing with them when I think they were like 11 or 12 when I started playing with them. This was like a couple years ago, and we're still going strong. We play about once a month or so. It's one of those games where you only play when everybody can make it, and so if you have experience with games like that, it usually means that you don't play very frequently. So I avoid doing that sort of thing. But because it's 4 kids, we play when everybody can make it. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is these kids have a blast. It's a lot of fun. So that's totally cool. So the Maniac started playing when he was about, 12 or something? Is that about right? Am I doing math correctly? 11 maybe. Cool. Anyway, that's awesome, Maniac. Glad. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Any questions or anything that we're going to talk about, guys? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep reading your chat, and I'll go off on random tangents on things that strike my interest, and that's what we'll do tonight. So, Ted loves the Deck of Many Things. You should tell him what happened when I introduced it to my campaign. I would, but it would take a while to type on my phone. What happened with your camp? Oh, that's right. So what happened in John's campaign when he introduced the Deck of Many Things is somebody pulled the card that steals your soul or whatever it is, and that person's soul got stolen away to I think it was the Abyss. He told me. And then his whole party decided to go on a rescue mission. And so then he had to do a whole thing about a rescue mission to get the soul back, which is the logical thing to do. I think if somebody's soul... I mean, my group right now, my 20th level group right now, is on a rescue mission to do the exact same thing. Get the soul back from Deiris, whose soul was stolen when she pulled out a card of the Deck of Many Things. And this is why the Deck of Many Things is known as a campaign ruiner, a campaign ender. Because, not necessarily because everybody's going to die, but whatever campaign you were running beforehand will invariably be changed and altered by the Deck of Many Things. Even if everybody doesn't die, you're still going to go rescue your friend's soul, or go do this, or go do that. So that's why it has that reputation. Which is why, Ted... you can come on every live stream you want and ask for the Deck of Many Things, and you will never get it. Unless I give you like a watered-down, wimpy version of it. That would be hilarious. Oh, I can get your hopes all up. I can bring in this little specialized Deck of Many Things, and I have these special rules for it off to the side, and you're going to get all excited. And then when you start pulling cards, it's like 1 copper piece. Or a kobold appears next to you and attacks you. It'll be totally dumbed-down wimpiness. That'll get you. All right, anyway, moving on. Fierce Mushroom. For me, almost every dungeon has at least a few traps. Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's awesome. There is no one way to do it, for sure. There's just personal preferences and what we like. And I think most DMs customize their games to the likes and interests of your players and stuff. So, yeah, absolutely, dude. Game Master's Vault. I think I'll take Grimtooth's Ultimate Trap Collection to work this weekend. Is that a book, dude? And then Paul says, no, not Grimtooth. That must be a book or something. I'm gonna Google this. Let us go over to Google, ladies and gentlemen, and see what this is. See if this does anything. Bam. Woo! It looks like it's a book. So, Grimtooth's Ultimate Trap Collection is a book. It looks like it's a Kickstarter thing. It looks like it's on Amazon. Is it on Amazon? It's on Amazon. Look at this.
it costs... So this book costs more than an official Wizards of the Coast book. I'm just going to throw that out there. Oh, it's listed at 40, but it goes down to 35. 500 of the world's greatest traps. Wow. That's probably worth it. That's cool because, like, that's one of the things with traps. You know, I don't know, I'm scrolling down there. I'm just like, let's just scroll down. One of the things with traps is that, you know, you don't always want to have the same boring, dumb trap. You know, spikes in the floor or the little twirly blades that come out of the walls to decapitate you or something. You want to have something interesting, you know. So just having a book with 500 traps in it would be really awesome. To just be able to open it up, read some of it, grab some things, and throw it in your game. So that's actually really cool. That's awesome. I almost want to click to add this to my cart. Anyway, that's cool. I like that. That's a good idea. I like that. I just learned something. I just learned about a book that would be very useful. Cool. Where were we? I got to pull up my live chat. We were looking through chat. No, not Grimtooth. Game Master Vault says something. Ted, your comment that begins with the D word is not going to be shown in the live chat. Sorry, buddy. Bad language not tolerated. I lost where I was. I totally lost where I was. Here we go. Game Master says, I like the click idea, but I think a better pressure trap would be you hear a click and feel the floor depress. They wedge something in, nothing happens until the wedge is removed. You could, I mean, if your trap goes off very, very slowly, if it were some sort of like Indiana Jones thing, and it gives them a time to do something, you could absolutely do that. You wouldn't want it to be super... If you were going to run a trap like that, I don't know that you want it to be super obvious, right? If it were like a slow trap and it started to go off, then what I would do is I would roll initiative. And then I would describe what's happening, you know. And maybe it's not pressure plate. Maybe it's something else that's going on. And then you go around the table in initiative order and say, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And then your players have the opportunity to start basically interacting with these mechanisms and stuff and trying to find it. Maybe if it's a pressure plate going down, they would wedge something underneath it to stop it or something. But I would have other things going on too, other things for them to interact with, you know, in initiative order and whatnot, and run it. So you would be running the trap almost like a combat in a way, right? And the goal is to like stop whatever is going on, right? I ran a trap like that once when my daughter was playing with me in a little campaign like a couple years ago, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's definitely another way to run it. That's a whole different type of trap, right? As opposed to just like something goes off and you either take damage or you don't. And that's a more interesting way to do it. The thing with that is you just slow things down. You're right. You just slow things down. Instead of the trap going off like that, you slow it down and then allow your players time to think of doing something. You would need it to be a little less obvious, though, I think. Otherwise, you got 5 people at a table thinking, you know, they're gonna come up with solutions really fast. And so it needs to be a little more difficult to figure out. But that's a great idea, dude. Slow it down. Slow the trap down. Fierce Mushroom. I use things like mimic doors that have keys hidden in the environment or some method to open it safely that isn't immediately obvious. Yeah, mimic doors are awesome. I had mimic doors once in a game, and I had this hallway, and there were doors all down the hallway. All of the doors were mimics except for one. I used the Fibonacci series, the Fibonacci sequence or whatever it is, and I had them all numbered above the doors. There were numbers above the doors, and one door did not have a number from the Fibonacci series, and that was the door that was not trapped with a mimic. And and I just designed it that way, and I was thinking, meh, probably they're gonna have, maybe nobody will know what that is, but there was one player at my table who's like an engineer, I think. This is for my Manus Invictus group, and he knew that. He recognized it, and he's like, well, this is the Fibonacci series, so this number doesn't fit, therefore let's go through this door. And so they skipped all of the mimics, which was fine. I mean, they got out of it by using their intelligence, their out-of-character intelligence, but that puzzle was designed basically so that if somebody at the table knew out of character that they get by it. That's how it was designed, so that's cool.
Five Guys. Yeah. Oh, I'm so far back in chat. People are making comments about Five Guys burger and fries. That was like 30 minutes ago. That's how far back in chat I am. Wow. That's awesome. All right. I'm having dinner soon. Authentic Italian pasta. Nice. Cookout. Five Guys. Oh, yeah. Cookouts are awesome. Five Guys is awesome too. $100. Ted, I'm not taking your money, man. Five Guys tastes like meatloaf. Oh, Paul, you're killing me, dude. You gave a player a deck of many things as a starting item. That's nuts. Yeah. Question, legit. Would you do a game? So Ted is asking, would you do a game over something like Roll20 or something similar? My DM needs to take a lesson from you, Mushroom, and give me one as a starting. I don't know that. I mean, right now I run 4 different campaigns, Ted. So right now there is no game over Roll20 or anything that I'm planning on running. I will tell you though, one of my Patreon rewards is the very top tier is that I'll run a game for you. But I priced it pretty expensive because it's a big time commitment to run a D&D game. And so, but Ted, if you want me to run an online game for you in addition to the game you already sit in person for free, then you can head on over to my Patreon page. There's my answer for you, Ted. Too busy right now to just do that stuff. Unfortunately, I would love to just run D&D games full time. That would be so much fun. All right, so Game Master's Vault says my players are level 7. And instead of Driders, I was going to use Kobolds riding the giant spiders. Yeah, cool. That's a good idea, dude. Maybe strap to the spiders with bungee cords. Quick attacks from the ceiling. Yeah. Oh, dude, seriously, that's awesome. So spiders are clinging to the ceiling. Your Kobolds are on the spiders with like cords and rope and bungee cords. And they like fall down. Whoop, they attack the players at the end of it. And then they spring back up. Whoop, and they just keep bobbing up and down as they're attacked. That's a great idea. We got to put that in our... We have totally got to put that... Hold on a second. We're going to do a thing. We're going to do a thing here. I'm going to take your comment, and I'm going to go over to... Let's go over to my Discord. Where's my Discord? Boop, 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 boop. All right, whose idea was that? So let me see. Hold on a second. Whose idea was that again? That was Game Master's Vault's idea. All right. So, from Game Master's Vault, bam. There we go. That is in our Kobold layer as an idea. So there we go, man. I just threw your idea up there for everybody. Bam. That's a good idea. I like that idea. I don't know if we're gonna. That might be really hard for us to implement, just because the moment with the Tucker's Kobold thing, the moment, or at least our Kobold thing, the moment you have a Kobold doing that and exposing himself to level 20 player characters, boom, he's dead. So I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna make a quick note about that on the Discord. Maybe will this work? Maybe we could use something different. Like we could use some like robotic Kobolds or something. Yeah, drones, Kobold drones. Maybe that'll work. That's an idea. I like the idea. That may or may not work for our specific thing. But we'll keep that in our back pocket. And let's pop back over to full camera, and let's get our chat back up here. I'm trying to get caught up on chat. There's a lot of good ideas in here. The Maniac. You should make the players have to make an athletics check to pull off the webs. Yeah, to get out of the webs, athletic check. Yep. I used the deck once to create a new character's background, how she was an instant 7th level mage and got some items. Cool. Then I played her as she got the sudden power, so not really aware or appreciative of the power she was wielding, so a bit reckless, but not completely. I wasn't going to screw the party just to showcase this concept. Yeah, that's cool, man. Here's a question. Fierce Mushroom has a question. Awesome. Question. Ted, you posted a question. I answered your question. I'm pretty sure I answered your question, man. All right. There was a question. Where is it? Fierce Mushroom says, do you think a monster that requires players to specifically call or aim their attacks is a bit OP or esoteric. A monster that requires them, I don't think so. I think it's a gimmick, right? I mean, which is fine. I think it's basically it's a special monster where it's the dragon from The Hobbit, right? Like his hide is, what was his name? What was that dragon's name? I don't know. His hide is impenetrable except for that one little scale that's missing, and that's where you got to put the arrow. And so you could have a monster, and I wouldn't do. I hear people walking upstairs. I wouldn't do this a whole lot, right? But like you have a special monster where it could be a boss where he is just in this like mithril magical full play. Don't make him magical because then once your players kill him, they'll get it. So be careful with that. But he's in this sort of thing. Maybe it's a magical spell or something, and like he's almost completely impervious except for maybe like the slit on his visor, right? And you have to hit him right through there, and you have to do a called shot. Like in 5th edition, a called shot is basically attack with disadvantage, right? So you might do something like that. You might have some sort of big, like the Tarrasque or some crazy big monster where he has specific vulnerabilities, and you have to hit him in a specific spot. So you could definitely do that. I think that would totally work. I wouldn't go crazy with it because that'll get novel ideas like that get bored if you do them too much. I think that's what novel means. Anyway, or something like that. It's not like I'm an English major or anything, so I don't know these things. Actually, was an English major. Let me see. So Fierce Mushroom says, not so much a question of overcoming the AC, but more using their head to cripple body parts and ultimately defeat it. Absolutely, dude. So my players recently were fighting a dragon. They were fighting an ascended chromatic dragon, which was a crazy awesome dragon I made up that basically breathed all 5 breath weapons of chromatic dragons. Similar to Tiamat, only he just had one head. And one of the players was like, can I just attack his wings? Because I had this dragon strafing over them, flying out of sight, breathing on them. He was just causing tons of havoc. His ability to fly was just not boding well for the players. And so the one player, when the dragon landed, was like, can I attack his wing to try to take away his ability to fly? I was like, yes, you can definitely do that. You can attack his, you know what we're going to do here? I'm going to pull up something here, and I'm going to show you kind of how I do this. Let me see, I could probably do this in, hold on a second. We're in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you something here. So this is kind of how I would do this. I'm just going to get a little paintbrush tool to kind of illustrate how I would do this. So let's say you have a dragon. This is a really crude drawing, all right? So you guys gotta cut me some slack here. I'm trying to illustrate how I do this in game for called shots and taking out. So here we got a dragon, and we're gonna give him some legs. Dragon's got a couple legs. There we go. Awesome. And he's got little talons at the end here, right? And then he's got eyes. There we go. All right. See, mad art skills right there, ladies and gentlemen. My daughter is an amazing artist, and she's probably laughing at me right now, or she will be if she ever sees this. She's like, that's horrible. Anyway, this is our dragon. So this is how I do called shots. So basically, if you want to take out his, let's say you want to take out his wings so that he can't fly anymore. Basically what I do, to make this simple, let's just say that our dragon has 300 hit points. So it's a 300 hit point dragon. There we go. And you assign a certain number of hit points to each part of his body, roughly. So let's just say that his wings each have 100 hit points, right? What that means is that if the players do called shots on the wings, attack with disadvantage, and they end up doing 100 points of damage to a wing, that wing is destroyed, right? And we're also subtracting that 100 points from the monster's total hit points. So now the dragon is down to 200 hit points, and he has a wing that's broken and doesn't work. Well, now let's say that the players are like, okay, we want to stop the dragon from being able to walk. So let's take out one of his legs. So now he can't even walk. Let's assign 100 hit points to his leg. They start doing called shots on the leg, so he can't walk. They take out the leg with 100 hit points of damage. Now the dragon's down to 100 hit points, okay? And now he can't fly, he can't walk. This dragon kind of sucks at this point. He's not doing a whole lot, maybe, except for breathing. So let's just say they're like, he's got 100 points left, and you're not telling your players how many hit points he has left. But this is a way for you to actually make called shots. There's my cat. My cat's got a problem. real problem, apparently. Squirty pie. This is a way for you to make call shots and targeting specific body parts actually meaningful in the game. And then, I mean, let's just say they're like, we want to blind him. Okay. All right, let's give each eye, so it's eyes. Hey, look at that. Woo! There we go. Check that crap out. Each eye, we'll say, has 50 hit points. It might not be 50. You might make it 25 or something, but that might be too low. And they got to be able to reach the eyes. If the dragon's like gargantuan and they're on the ground, they're probably going to have to figure out a way to actually reach the eyes. Hitting a wing that's flapping or something, or legs, is a little bit easier, but you might make it more challenging to actually reach the eyes. But anyway, point is let's say they want to take out an eye, and they manage to take out an eye by doing 50 hit points of damage to the eye at disadvantage on their attack rolls. Well, now his hit points go down to 50, right? And then at that point, they're like, let's blind him, let's totally blind him, and they do another 50 hit points of damage to an eye. Well, now his hit points are 0, and your entire dragon is dead, right? And so that is how I handle the mechanics of like called shots and targeting specific body parts. Obviously this is D&D 5th edition. And I just kind of do this on the fly. You don't have to really think about this too much in advance. As long as you have this basic principle in mind, then you can do this with any creature or whatever. I should probably create this image here and add it as a downloadable file in this video. That's pretty cool. All right. Let's jump off from that. Let's go back to our stuff here. That's an awesome little drawing right there. This is why I love this new setup I have with being able to flop back over here and do stuff, because it gives me more versatility in like helping explain things and talk about junk. So that's fun. Let's go over here. I wonder how many. I just want to see. Ooh. All right, cool. I was just curious how many people are watching. I haven't been paying attention. We got 9 people on still. That's pretty cool. I wonder who are the participants. It's the DM Lair and the Maniac. We are the only participants here, apparently. So, we're gonna do something here real quick, guys. That's cheating. Let me see. Stand by. Stand by. I'm preparing something. Stand by. Something. I have to do something real quick here. Real quick. Stand by. Sorry. And there is that. All right. And I'm just going to throw this up real quick, and I will be back in a few minutes. See, I got this little awesome thing I can put up here. Last time I did a live stream, people were making fun of me because I think I left about 4 or 5 times during the live stream for an intermission. So, anyway, that's life. There's got to be a thing. I need to do some research, because people live stream all the time, there's got to be a technique besides just like dehydrating yourself to not have to take a intermission every so often. Anyway, let's get back on what we were doing. We were going through chat, answering questions, and going on like tangents and talking about stuff. So there we go. I should probably drink some more coffee. I got a banana too because I'm hungry. It's not quite the same as a hamburger, but that's all I got. Let's look at some stuff here. All right, I think I'm back where I was supposed to be. The Maniac, yes. The web is like an oh, that's not what I want to say. Yep. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through chat, guys. I'm trying to get caught up with you. I'm trying to see if there's a question or something here. And then we'll do some stuff here. So bear with me, if you would. Okay, the Maniac has a question. All right, and he actually put hashtag question, which is useful because like if you guys are paying attention to the ticker down below, it says hashtag question for a question. So if you got a question, throw up a question with hashtag, and we'll be all over that at some point after I talk a lot and finally get to it. Anyway, hashtag question. I have started playing Horde of the Dragon Queen with 2 different groups. Should I change the story a bit for one of them? I don't think so. If I were running the exact same module for both groups, then I don't think I would change it a whole lot unless you wanted to for some reason. I don't think you're under any moral mandate to change it for one of them because, I mean, assuming the players are all distinct for each of the groups, right? They have no idea that they're playing the exact same module as another group and that you're not changing anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with leaving stuff the same. That said, the way I run modules now is a little bit, I tend to view a module more as a template of stuff that could happen, that will probably happen or whatever, and then modify it as I see fit. But if I were running the exact same module for 2 different groups at the same time, I would probably make the same modifications to both groups and then just run it that way. So I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it the same way for both groups, dude. Because here's the thing, too. If you're running the same module, but you're making changes for one group, you got to keep track. You got to keep distinct in your mind that, oh, for this group, I did this thing, but for that group, I did this thing. The player, the big bad's name is, those differences might be more difficult to keep straight in your mind. If you're running totally different campaigns and totally different adventures or modules for different groups, it's easier to keep them straight. But otherwise, you might have trouble. I would have trouble. I'd probably get that messed up a lot. But nothing wrong with running it the same way, dude, at all. If that's how you want to do it, and everybody's having fun, then rock on. Uh-oh, I missed my chat. Yeah, we write weird stuff. I turned off the ability to post things. Send me something on Facebook, and then I'll take a look at it, and maybe we throw it up here. Whatever it is you're talking about. I just found a random thing. John can't post links. I did turn off posting of links in my live streams, just in case somebody gets crazy on me. This was like about a couple weeks ago. I had to delete somebody's post because they were doing that whole sub for sub bullcrap, right? I'm like, man, really? I'm a small channel. I shouldn't have to deal with like sub for sub bullcrap. But anyway, trying to find people's questions here. I don't understand the context of that. I'll just keep reading. Oh, John says he saw a less broken deck of many things on Reddit. I think I saw the same one, John. I think I saw that same post. If you can find that link, send me that link over Facebook, and we might take a look at it right here. Grimtooth is a huge book. Awesome. That's good to know. Because, if I'm going to lay down $30 for it or something, I mean, it's 500 traps, right? It's 500 traps, so it's got to take up some space, So that's cool. That's good to know. I mean, that sounds really tempting, too. I would use more traps in my game probably if I had, like, a library of awesome traps to pull from. Paul says there's maybe 8 Grimtooth books, but so deadly it's about as game-altering as the deck. I really don't like many traps if that's what they may do. Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. Traps should not be super crazy. I mean, having an occasional trap that's nasty, yeah, that's fun, right? But if every time you come across a trap, they're just going to murder you, that's the same as every combat encounter being like TPK like territory, right? So no, I wouldn't want everyone to be deadly. But I think it's probably not too hard to take a trap out of Grimtooth or something and scale it back a little bit, you know, reduce damage or something, or fiddle around with it. But the thing is if they give you the base idea, it's much easier to start out with an awesome idea and then modify it a little bit, tweak it a little bit to suit your purposes, than to just sit there in a void and try to think of your own idea. So, I mean, even if you have to scale stuff back, having that base idea I could see being very, very helpful. All right, he's going to DM it to me. I'm going to go and see if I got that on Facebook or something. Here we go. A deck of minor things. All right, I'm copying the link. Copy link address. And then we're going to paste it into my browser. And just trying to resolve it. All right, I'm going to toss this up here. Boom. There we go. So we're in Reddit, and we are on the subreddit D&D Behind the Screen. And so this guy, yeah, I definitely saw this, John. This guy posted this up, and I think the whole idea is, he said it's a lessened version of the Deck of Many Things. And so, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to take this link right here. How do I get this? This thing is like giving me a weird URL. There we go. Is that going to help me a little bit? That's a better URL. What I'm going to do for this, guys, just so it's easier for you guys to access this, is I'm going to go into my, and you're going to be able to see the behind the screens here a little bit, but I'm going to put this as a link to the lesser, what was it called? A deck of minor things. A deck of minor things. And then boom, there we go. That way, save changes. If you guys want that link and you want to go check it out, you're welcome to check that out. You know what we're going to do too is, while we're at it, let's put Grimtooths down here too. What was this called? Grimtooth's Ultimate Traps Collection. There we go. Not sponsored links. I mean, I wish these dudes were giving me money. But there is some useful stuff for you guys down in the description if you want to check that out. I just tossed that down there for you. But let's, I mean, I don't necessarily want to read through the entire deck of minor things, or a minor deck of things or something. The Magician. You learn the Light cantrip. If you know it already, the card has no effect. You learn the Spare the Dying cantrip. If you know it already, the card has no effect. You can express a single wish. Instead of having your wish granted, I don't think you guys can read this. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. There we go. Make that a little bit better. That's probably easier to read for you. You can express a single wish. Instead of having your wish granted, a small genie, the genie or something, appears out of thin air and starts bargaining with you, explaining that he is very new to the job and can't really do what you're asking, but what about this other thing that is basically the same and can be done? In short, you get a heavily reduced version of your wish. DM to interpret how this plays out, how successful the player is in bargaining, and how much of the wish gets fulfilled. The small genie is immune to charm spells and it's pretty hard to convince in general. I love it. That is awesome. That right there would be an awesome role-playing opportunity in the game. All right, Ted, if you're still on, man, I think you're going to get a deck of minor things. It says you gain the sun is you gain the lucky feat for 1d10 days. All right, bad options. Actually, we might just read through these. I'm going to gesture with my banana for some weird reason. These are pretty interesting. Temperance. I mean, we have nothing else to talk about. I mean, this is just a whatever hangout. So, temperance. You are permanently unable to drink any alcoholic substance. Dude, Dude, that's a screw job. Oh my gosh, that's a bad card to draw. Oh. Whenever you try the liquid, just transforms into water the moment it enters your mouth. Oh, that's awesome. That would introduce so many roleplay opportunities. You know, the dwarf is just irate, storming around, angry because he can't drink any ale. Oh, that would be so awesome. Optional addendum. I think that's how you pronounce that. DM to choose if this applies. All extra effects of the drink, poisoning, boost, status effect are still there. Only taste and the ability to get you drunk are removed. Cool. All right. Death. Roll an amount of dice equal to double your hit dice. If you are a level 1 fighter, you roll 2d10. Okay? You take necrotic damage equal to the result. If it takes you below 0 hit points, you go to 0 hit points instead and are immediately stable without any need. So that just, yeah, that's not that bad at all. There's nothing super interesting about that effect, honestly. Some of these effects are really interesting and will be really fun so far. That's just to take a little damage. The Star. You are unable to sleep for the following night and gain 1 level of exhaustion the following morning. Oh, you get a permanent -1 to your lowest ability score. If 2 ability scores tie for lowest, you can pick the one you want. I mean, that's going to be your dump stat, right? So charisma or something, or strength, depending on what you are. And so most people are going to be like, meh, not a big deal. I mean, it affects you a little bit, but it's not like the end of the world. If you're a warlock and your charisma gets screwed, that's not good, right? But if you're a warlock and your strength goes down, meh, who cares? Oh, this is cool. The Tower. You lose the ability to express yourself in tongues for the next 1d4 days, as all you say or write comes out as gibberish. This cannot be cured with the restoration spell. You are still thinking in your language, so you can communicate with telepathy if you're able to do so. I would cut that out. Bam, gone. I would. This is the sort of thing that would introduce amazing role playing opportunities. I once had a player. He had this, like, it was a, what was that thing? The fiends who are known as mercenaries. What are those things called? Yugoloth. There was a Yugoloth that I took out of, I think it was Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. And when the Yugoloth did something to you, it was like a frog type creature. It like stole your memories and stuff. And so I had a player once who had no memories at all for like a day or something until they could heal him. And it was awesome to roleplay that. It was lots of fun. That was at my Sword Coast card group. So this sort of thing here is just really, really cool. You're still fully capable as a person in combat and stuff, which is an important part of the game. But you just roleplay not being able to talk. That's so cool. I love that. And the reason I said take out the telepathy part is because that's kind of a cheat. You know, if you're gonna have something fun like this, I would just take that out and just say you can't do any sort of communication at all. Because then you got people that are like, like gesturing and stuff. That's just so much fun. That's so much fun at the table. Oh, you gain a permanent physical attribute. Reroll if you have it already. Roll a d6, a furry tail, snake eyes, cat ears. Oh, I want cat ears. That'd be so cool. It reminds me of, like, is it Instagram or some of these kids with like their apps and stuff? They can do things where they put like ears and like noses and crap on their faces. I don't know how they do that. They use some sort of app to do that, but that reminds me of that for some reason. Okay, there's lots of other stuff here. The Lovers. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's something. Hey, Ted, that's something that Nigel would enjoy right there. That's cool. Wheel of Fortune. You have bad luck for the next 1d4 days, and for this time period, you roll everything with disadvantage. Yeah, that sucks. But it's not the end of the world. It's like a limited duration, so it's not that big of a deal. I like it. I think this is really cool, John. Thanks for sharing. I mean, this is really, really sweet. It definitely does not sound like anything that is game-breaking at all. It's not going to destroy your campaign, but it gives... A lot of these things seem to be really interesting as far as role-playing goes, so I totally like this. That's really cool, dude. Thanks, man. All right, let's pop back to full camera mode, and full camera mode. There we are. What am I doing? Let's look at chat. Let's take a look at chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh, I'm never gonna catch up in chat because right when I can see my little scroll thingy getting toward the bottom of the chat, like I'm getting caught up, like somebody sends me a link to something cool and I get distracted and stuff. So I'll never get caught up. But we'll just keep on talking, having fun. I mean, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. Just reading your guys' chat and going off on tangents and talking about D&D. This is fun to me. I don't know. I mean, there are 9 people on here watching, so some people probably find this fun. The Maniac says, I would join in on that game, but I don't have the money to pay for Patreon. That's cool, dude. There's no worries, man. I mean, I intentionally made that tier for like running a game for some people. I intentionally made that expensive because like that's a big time commitment for me, you know. And like I don't anticipate people will ever pay that, to be perfectly honest with you. But I wanted to have it as an option just in case, you know. So the moment I say that is the moment that people actually sign up for it. I'm just like, oh, now I got to run D&D. Okay, but that would be an awesome game, because I'll tell you what, if people are paying me money to run a game, oh my gosh, I'll put some work into that, make that sweet. Anyway, moving on. Question: you know, it'd be cool if every so often if I did like one shots. Just like one shots, you know, with just like a few people, a few of my like supporters or something. I could do that. That might be possible. That's because that's not a big time commitment. Just to have a little one shot where you just do it real quick. That's a good idea. I could do something like that maybe one day. Anyway, moving on. Question: can I use my character from Sword Coast Guard for that Patreon level? I don't care, dude. Sure. Maybe. I mean, it depends. Like if I ever get like 4 people that are gonna give me. What am I even charging for that? I even forget. All right. Now you guys let me guys say. Let's just go take a look at this. I'm not trying to like plug this crap really or anything. It's not a big deal. But I'm just curious. Oh, hold on a second. I don't necessarily want to show that. So I just want to go over here and see how much I'm actually charging for that, because I don't remember. I don't really pay attention to that stuff a whole lot. So stand by. I am looking at something over here. I'm trying to scroll. It's waiting for a cache. Alright, let's go over here. Oh yeah. And can I show this? Yep, I can show this. Alright, I just want to make sure. There's some stuff on my Patreon page that I want to make sure that I'm not exposing. It's being exposed. All right, hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. I am obviously not a professional streamer yet, so I'm just trying to figure a couple things out. See, I make these like weird noises and stuff to fill in the uncomfortable silence of me trying to figure stuff out. There you go. Boom. All right, let's pop that over here, and now you guys can see. So this is the ancient dragon level. This is the level that you get to play D&D with me as your DM and stuff like that. So yeah, it's $100, but I don't think anybody ever pay for that. But that's fine. That's fine. It was whatever. Maybe someday, but whatever. Who cares? Anyway, let's keep going on. Let's keep looking at chat. Let's look at some chat. Fierce Mushroom. I didn't ask Ted if the Patreon thing ever starts going up or whatever, or I run. Yeah, you can. I mean, we might start at level 1 or something, or level 5 or something. I don't know. So you might have to roll up your character at a lower level, but whatever. All right. Fierce Mushroom says, one of my weirder traps: rusted iron locks and glass keys. Rusted iron. Oh, nice. It takes a little descriptive effort, but essentially the keys break if you don't try to use them. If you don't try to use them? I'm not sure I understand that. Huh. I was envisioning rusted iron locks and glass keys that when you try to use them, they would break. So I might not understanding it properly. Okay. Smog, yes. See, I'm like about 20 minutes behind in chat. And so now somebody, because I remember a while ago I was wondering what the name of that dragon from The Hobbit is. And then somebody just told me. Thanks, Ted. Thanks. Everybody's chiming in. Everybody's chiming in. It's smog. For some monsters, the HT locations really matter. Hit locations? Hydra, Beholder, could be like a boss monster that you need to defeat its pieces in stages or in a certain order. Yep, Paul, definitely. A Hydra is definitely one of those monsters where like called shots and stuff could be meaningful. Yeah. It might actually have that worked into the stat blocks or into the combat itself. Dragons have 4 legs. All right. All right, Game Master's Vault. Game Master's Vault has got a problem with my drawing. Dragons have 4 legs. So let's go over to my wonderful drawing and let's give our dragons some more legs. So I only got 2 legs. There's another leg. And there's another leg. Let's give them some claws. Yeah, give them some claws. I'll give claws on these legs too. There we go. All right. There we go. Is that better? I give the dragon 4. You're right. You're totally right. They have 4 legs. I got something in my throat now. That's funny. Thanks for that, dude. That's funny. Wyverns have only 2. All right, cool. And Ted's like, "Why you drawing a wyvern?" I'm like an hour behind in chat. That's awesome. Actually, you know what? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you guys are right. I don't know how to draw dragons. Apparently, I'm not a very good DM. I have no idea what a dragon even looks like. My OCD is showing. Yeah, it's cool. I think it's funny at Game Master's Vault. I think it's funny. So Fierce says, my monster for this is an arcane automation. Giant brass golem with magical capacitors that have to be targeted to defeat. That's a great idea, dude. I like that. Special little things on him that are the only way to bring it down. Absolutely. And when you introduce that, right, I imagine that you're not just going to tell the players, oh, you got to target these things, but they're going to have to find out. They'll be hitting the thing and, like, nothing is happening, or it's, like, healing. It's, like, the metal is, like, reforming and stuff around it somehow, and they're like, what the heck is going on? Maybe the capacitors, like electricity sparks from them, runs down the length of the golem, and that electricity, like, heals it. And so that would be a clue to them that they have to target those capacitors or something. Just ideas off the top of my head. I'm sure you got this worked out. But anyway. All right. The Maniac says bye. And I'm sure you left a long time ago. But bye, dude. All right, man. I got to take a bite of this banana. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to open bananas. It's like 11 o'clock where I am. I'm sure some of you guys are, like, out on the West Coast or something, and it's not quite that bad. But I'm going to start falling asleep here in a little bit. Yeah. So Game Master Vault's just saying the exact same thing. He said this like a while ago to give the PCs clues that that's what they need to do, target to destroy them. Yep, agreed. And that's exactly what I did. I'm a little behind here apparently. It says Game Master Vault says, I hope you washed your hands after your break. Swan Master Flex, what's going on, dude? And you came and asked a question probably about an hour ago, and I hope you're still here so that I can answer it for you. He says, and if not, you can catch it on the replay. How do you feel about campaigns centered around a group traveling on an airship? Because that's what my party wants to do. Yeah, do it. Absolutely. That would be awesome. I mean, there are specifics, right, that you would have to think about. You know, are they... So, is your campaign basically just, like, most stuff happens in traditional dungeons, and the airship is just merely transportation? That kind of defeats the purpose of being on an airship to a certain extent, right? So you want to probably have other things like, you know, flying monsters attack the airship. You know, dragons, they might be flying their airship and they run into a cloud giant city up in the clouds or something. You know, there might be, if there are airships in this world, this might be Eberron. I'm thinking Eberron because I know there are airships in Eberron. There could be rival airships. There could be pirate airships. There could be massive dungeon airships, you know, that's like a mini tiered dungeon on different levels of an airship, and they got to, like, go from tier to tier. So yeah, there are lots of awesome ideas for that. And falling from an airship when you're fighting really high, that's could be nasty. But yeah, I think that's a great idea, dude. I would totally do that. It's a different style of game, obviously, but it would be totally fun, I think. And it would be different too. I mean, sometimes if you've played D&D for years and years and years, the same old thing, these types of ideas, and this is why people do these things, because it's something different, something they haven't tried before, and it's interesting. So yeah, I'd go for it, man. Oh, Game Master's Vault's doing an airship thing right now. Awesome. John gave his party an airship. It's just airship. Yeah, airships. Well, if you're in Eberron, I know I played in Eberron. There's a game called Dungeons and Dragons Online that I played like for a while, several years, and that's in Eberron, and it has airships, and that's a great game, by the way. So much more interesting than WoW and other crap like that. Anyway, I run the same homebrew story for 2 groups. Makes encounter prep easier because I've already done it once. Absolutely. One of the things actually I've considered doing is, so I have 4 campaigns I'm running right now, and they're all homebrew, and it takes so much time to homebrew that many campaigns, and I'm a crazy super prepper. Like, I do tons of game. You know what? To show you how much I prep, I'm gonna pop over right now and show you an example of something that I prepped, just to show you guys like how crazy I am and how much I prep for my games. I'm going to go to the Sword Coast Guard, and we're going to go to a quest that they already did. We're going to look at, what are we looking at? What's a good one? Granny Titchwillow. Oh, I'm going to look at a side quest. I know there was a really good side quest that I did. Man, where is this thing? Main quest arc, recaps. No, I'm not finding something. I'm like off on a big tangent here. Really big tangent. And now I'm not finding what I wanted to look. Oh, the Velvet Fists. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Velvet Fists. All right, stand by. Sorry. Bear with me here. I gotta open stuff up. Stand by. We're getting there. All right, it's here. And now I have to get it zoomed out a little bit. We're gonna do a little show and tell for everybody here. No, this is a good one too. All right, let's get this out of the way. Bam, and then I will pop you over to here. All right, so what we're looking at here is one of the quests I designed for the Sword Coast Guard. This is the sort of thing we're gonna do next Friday on our live stream. We're gonna design a quest together. When I get all done, when I homebrew my stuff, this is what I end up with. I have a list at the very beginning of all my monsters that are going to be in the quest, and then some notes about NPCs. I have random encounters that I have made up. I mean, you guys can see right here, I have 26 pages. This is one adventure. I think this took them 4 sessions to get through, and it's just full of information. There's encounter information. I'm just scrolling through it real quick. I'm just showing. I mean, this is the type of stuff that I do for my homebrew games. You know, this is one adventure that lasts 4 game sessions, and it is planned out in like pains. I have a read aloud text. I told you I was a writer. I have a read aloud text that I put on it and everything. It's one of the reasons that I do all of this detail when I homebrew stuff is I'm always thinking in my mind that I'm going to be publishing these things eventually, right? And so I'm doing a lot of the groundwork right now when I homebrew it, so that when I get around to creating the published adventure and then putting it up on Drive-Thru RPG, I've done a lot of the work already. So that's one of the reasons I do this, just so you know. I'm not totally crazy. There's a method to my madness, as the cliche goes. Anyway, that's not why I got off on a tangent there. I'm sure there was something else I was trying to show you guys before I went off on that tangent. I was answering a question, or somebody said something. Oh, I was trying to explain to you about how I have 4 campaigns and why I'm trying to transition away from homebrew. That Word document right there is the reason that I'm transitioning away from homebrew and going to start running some modules with my players, because that's a lot of work to do that from all my games. And so I think running modules is going to be less work for me. So, and before I got off on the tangent that led me to the tangent, I was trying to tell you that I've had the thought of running a module for one group that has a little faster pace to it, And then for another group that has a slower pace that maybe meets only once a month or something, for like my youngling group, that I would just run that exact same module. But because I've run it once already, it makes it easier for me to run it for the other group. So that is, somebody left a comment that got me, Game Master's Vault said that. And that was my tangent comment stuff about that, based upon that. So there you go. Hope that makes sense to you. Makes sense to me. All right. Reading more comments. I think I can handle it. My world is sandboxy and built enough to handle them traveling quite far. But what other unforeseen stuff should I prep for? I don't know the context of this. I think he's talking about... Oh, yeah. Campaign centered about a group traveling on an airship. I don't know. I mean, I run my games in a very like adventure-oriented manner. Like, you just saw how much prep I do for my adventures. And so my players are good sports, and they always kind of take my hook, they take my inciting action, and they go and run the adventure that I plan for, you know. So I don't usually have to, like, you know, plan for unforeseen stuff, because my players are all real good sports, and they just kind of go along with it. What I do though is I plan out this massive compound for them to go through, but they can approach it and overcome the difficulties therein using any method they want. There is no one way to beat that dungeon, right? I've had people, I had a group once, there was like a wooden dungeon, and they burnt the thing down. They set a fire in one area and burnt it down. And all the enemies like fled, taking a lot of the loot with them, and the enemies were in one group, right? And then they went in and they attacked the enemies and killed the enemies. And so they avoided having to go from room to room to room type of thing. And they burned the compound down and then attacked the enemies when they were like outside and stuff. So I mean, that's how I do my sandboxy stuff, right? You're in a certain adventure, but it's a situation to be overcome, and you can use any method you want to overcome that situation. Anyway, moving along. I'm going to try to get caught up here. Yeah, Game Master's Vault says I over-prep my world to make improvising easier. The plot remains fairly loose. Yeah, the more you know about your world, the easier it is to improvise. Like I've been running the Forgotten Realms for a long time, and almost all of my campaigns take place in the city of Waterdeep, so I know that city fairly well. So it's fairly easy for me to improvise. I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to show you something else that I use at the table that helps me improvise things really well. I use OneNote to do lots of cool stuff. And one of the things, I'm going to pop over, we're going to look at OneNote for a moment here, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the things that I do is, so this is my Wonder Panda campaign. Whoop, don't look at that, John. Don't look at that. Do not look at that. He's going to like go back and pause it and stuff. It's got a whole, dude, that's going to be a spoiler for you, man. Don't look at that stuff. Waterdeep and the Sword Coast. So one of the things I do here is I have a bunch of information in OneNote about Waterdeep, and so I take my iPad with me to all my games. Like for instance, this one game session, I think this was like my Manus Invictus group 2 weeks ago. They're like, we need to go to Skullport to get some information about stuff, and so I have a tab here with Skullport information, and there's stuff about different places. I mean, there's an overview of it, and there are different services, and there's the port locations, trade lane locations, heart locations, Skull Island locations, and so basically, like, at the game table, when they decide to go to Skullport, boom, I pull this up, and I have reference material ready to go. And I have this all in a book. Like, I just took this out of like this old 2nd edition book I have from Waterdeep and Skullport and crap. But having it on OneNote, and being able to quickly reference it and get to stuff quickly, that's duplicative, whatever, is very helpful. So I use OneNote for that a lot. As you guys can see by all these tabs and crap and stuff running across the top, I use OneNote very extensively in my these are my 4 campaigns: Manus Invictus, Sword Coast Guard, the Wonder Panda campaign, and that's a fun one, and then the Youngling campaign. And so all of my notes go in here, and stuff like that. So there you go. There's a tangent, another tangent, lots of tangents. I imagine, I'm hoping that some of these tangents are useful for you guys too. I made a video on OneNote and keeping things organized as well. It's out there in my library of videos if you guys want to look at that. I walk through each of the different tabs and stuff, so that might be helpful for you. All right, let's go back to our chat. I want to look at something else too. Stand by. Ooh. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again. Friday night hangout. It's 11:18 where I am, and let's say we got 8 people on. So, and people are still chatting and stuff. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. Let's just keep hanging out. I mean, I'll just keep reading your guys' comments and stuff, and I keep having stuff to talk about. So. People talking about airships. Yes, there are some enemies that could destroy their airship. That would be nasty. Can you imagine? Like, the dragon doesn't care about fighting them, right? The dragon just wants to burn down their airship. Then you have to protect your airship from the dragon or something. It changes the dynamic of the battle. When it's no longer about not dying, it's about not letting the dragon, or whatever it happens to be, destroy your prized property, right? So that would be a cool encounter. You wouldn't want to pull that too often. Like, that's the same thing as when you give your players like a base in a city or somewhere, or a castle. You want to occasionally you're going to want to do the whole mechanic where enemies try to like invade their base or take it over or steal it from them or whatever. But that mechanic I would use sparingly, because you want to have them have like a safe place as well where they can stash their junk without worrying about, oh no, the DM's going to have people attack us all the time, because that could get old fast. But occasionally, as a mechanic, to make something a little interesting and tense in the game because they're going to lose their airship or lose their secret base, sparingly, that could be very interesting. I wouldn't overdo that though, because then it can start to feel like a DM screwjob. You know, he's always trying to destroy your airship. He's always trying to like have them attack our secret compound. How does everybody know about our secret compound? You know what I'm saying? So I would use it sparingly, but that's a good idea. I like that. Yes, Game Master, you're totally right. He says, nothing will motivate the PCs more than stealing or destroying their stuff. Absolutely. Use sparingly. That can make things really tense and get them really into the game. Oh, absolutely. I would just use it sparingly, because otherwise they're going to start to feel like the DM is intentionally messing with them. So yeah. Oh, crap. I just lost my place. Swanmaster Flex says that they haven't even got the airship yet. They're still saving up for one. They may start off with a dinky little one based on the funds they have access to. Awesome. Make them work up to it, man. Make them save for their airship. They want the fancy ship that has crazy stuff on it. Let that be like a goal for them. I imagine there are airship builders in your game, and they're like, these are the prices and stuff. And so they have a reason to hoard their money and save up for things to get the fancy ship. Especially if your players are into that sort of thing. You know, that can be totally fun. Fierce says, my throat is starting to get like a little like crackly and stuff from talking so much. I don't think the coffee is helping that. Fierce says, my campaign has a pseudo steampunk aesthetic, so airships are slightly less common than city buses. Cool. So there are lots of airships. Nice. My contacts are starting to dry out too. This does not bode well for the live stream. Make them wait and work for it. Airships are expensive and take a long time to build. Lots of quests to acquire the magic items needed to power. Now that's interesting. Actual quests they need to go on to get the items for the airship. I mean, if you want to make that part of your campaign, you know, that could totally be a thing. And that gives them a reason to go on specific quests, because sometimes in our games we're just like, oh, this NPC quest giver told us to go do X that we kind of don't care about, but we're going to go along with it, you know. But if they're actually going on quests to accomplish an objective that they really want, like for building an airship, they have more skin in the game, right? So that could be cool. Alright, so Game Master Vault says, Luke, look up Indian puzzle locks on eBay. I got one for my players to try out within the next month. Game Master Vault says, you might be a good DM, but you're probably only the world's most okay dragon drawer. All right, you know what, buddy? Let me tell you what, man. I do not appreciate that. I think this dragon is the best dragon that's ever been drawed before. All right, so you all can just like bow down before my awesome artistic skills. There you go, man. All right. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a great drawer, especially not with like a brush in Photoshop. My daughter though, woo, she can draw. You know what? I don't know. Let me see if I can find a really cool piece of electronic art that I can show you. That's like really sweet. Let me see. I want to see if I got something good here. Something I really like. That's really cool. Oh, that's so good. All right, stand by. She did one once that was like, oh, that's awesome. I love that stuff. All right, I'm gonna show you one. I'm gonna pull one up. This is a drawing that my daughter did. That's really good. She's always like saying that it's not that good, and then I'm looking at it. I'm just like, you're nuts. This is the most awesomest thing ever. So stand by. I'm trying to get the resolution proper for y'all here. All right, there we go. And then I got to switch over the screen. Bam. All right, check that out. My daughter did this. I don't know if this was electronic. I think this is electronic. I think she did this on her computer. We have that one of those little pads for her to like draw on and crap. But she did this right here. I think this is amazing. I could never do anything near like this. And this is from a while ago. She's doing such better stuff now. She is such an amazing drawer. It's really, really cool. So anyway, there you go. Show and tell has nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. So there you go. Anyway, and by the way, you know, the only people, what do you want to call it? Certified or able to say if somebody's a good dungeon master or not are his players, right? Ultimately, it's the players, right? If they're having fun and they're enjoying it, they're the ultimate judges of whether somebody is good at running the game or not. But my players don't leave, and they keep coming back for more, so they must be having fun to some extent. Anyway, keep moving. Swan Master Flex is still here. Awesome. I'm still here too. Actually, stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Because we are going to take a small intermission. Because Luke's been drinking coffee. All right, I'm back, and I brought water. It's probably not going to work very well, but
right, let's get the intermission off. Oh, you know what I want to show you guys? I want to show you something really cool. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Ooh, we got 11 people on now. That's awesome. It's like 11:30 at night. And people are like, we just got back from partying and now we're going to talk about D&D stuff. Cool. I want to show you something real quick. This bad boy right here is a dragon that my buddy Ted from Sword Coast Guard Group made for me, painted and stuff. Like, this thing is super awesome. It's like a black dragon. It's like heavy. This thing has got weight to it. I think this is made out of, like, it might be metal, or maybe it's the base that's really heavy. The base is made out of wood and stuff. Like, this thing is so sweet, so amazingly awesome. So thanks, Ted. I'm still not going to give you a deck of many things, but I probably will have to use this dragon in your game. An ancient black dragon in a swamp. That'll be fun. Yeah, I'll put this back. Yeah, this is going to be in, like, it's going to be right here. This is going to be in my videos from now on. Because that thing is freaking sweet. It's probably worth a lot, too. I mean, I don't know how dragons like that cost, but that's pretty good. But I'm immune to bribes. Anyway, moving on. I got to get caught up in chat. So it's getting late. It's getting to be like 11:30. But as long as we got people hanging out and having fun, we'll just keep going for a while. Tomorrow's Saturday. I have nothing to do in the morning except for prep for my game that I have tomorrow night. So we'll just, as long as we're hanging out and having fun, we'll just keep on going. All right, let's see. Falling out of an airship isn't that bad. It's that sudden stop at the end that kind of sucks. Yep, totally. Lawrence the Rakshasha pirate captain is my #1 side quest. Nice, that sounds it. Rakshashas, oh my gosh, I haven't used one of those in my games yet. Oh my gosh. I think they're like immune. Okay, we're going to look at a Rakshasha. All right, tangent. Fierce Mushroom just got us on a tangent again. Here we go. We're going to look at a Rakshasha, ladies and gentlemen, and these things are sweet. And now I feel like a moron. I haven't used one of these in my games yet. All right, here we go. Stand by. I wasn't planning on showing Rakshashas, so I don't have the relevant file open, and I just got to find it real quick for you all. So stand by as I open this up and fill in the awkward silence with pointless babble. All right, come on, baby, you can do it. Woo! That's not it. All right, we're getting there. Rakshasha. I think that's what we're talking about. Rakshasha. Yeah. Yeah, Rakshasha. All right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this to give me the layout that I want it to have, so that you all can, like, see this properly. And I got so many windows open. I'm sorry. Bear with me. I got too many windows open. All right. First of all, before I show you the Rakshasha, now I'm on another tangent. Sorry. I'm going to switch my screen over here, and I'm going to show you something cool. Bam! Oh, that's the top shot. We don't want that there. Check that out. One of my buds over on Discord, Josh. Huge shout out to Josh. He is awesome. He made this little graphic, and now I got it on my desktop. It's really cool. This is my, like, logo and stuff, but he put this, like, stuff behind it. Really awesome. Josh is the man. He's also hooking me up with like some really cool stuff. So yeah, he is the man, and he knows he's the man. So anyway, Rakshasha. We were gonna look at a Rakshasha before I got distracted. Ooh, I'm like a master. I don't have ADD. I don't. I swear I don't. But it's late at night. I'll blame it on the late at night stuff. Anyway, we're looking at a Rakshasha, and yes, this is a PDF. No, Wizards does not create PDFs, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd be buying them from Wizards. I have the books. I have all the books. Anything that I use, I buy the book. But having a PDF as a handy reference is super, super useful. So Rakshasha,
These things are sweet, awesome looking. All right. So CR13, cool. Limited magic immunity. The Rakshasha is immune to spells of 6th level or lower unless it wishes to be affected. It has advantage on saving throws against all other spells and magical effects. Amazing. Wow, that's awesome. I should throw like 5 Rakshashas at my level 20 party. That would be so much fun. Innate spellcasting, DC 18. Well, the thing is that at higher levels, a DC 18 save isn't super hard to make. And a plus 10 to hit with spell attacks is not very good at higher levels. So that if I were to use this Rakshasha against like a level 20, a group of Rakshashas against level 20, then I might have to beef that up. Let's do something else real quick. Let's make a little encounter standby out of Rakshashas real quick here. So this is the program I use for making encounters. And next Friday when we make an adventure together, this is what we're going to be using to do that. This is how I create my encounters. So, I mean, the site is up here. Oh, here's what we're going to do. I definitely want to promote this because this site is amazing. What I'm going to do is stand by. I'm going to put this in the description down below so you guys can find the site if you need it. It is called 5e Encounter Generator Creator. I don't know. What is it called? Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Encounter Calculator. There we go. Calculator. There we go. And I will save that. Bam. I'm doing it now because I will forget to do it later if I don't do it now. And if you want, you can go down and click on it so you can bring it up if you're on a computer or crap. Anyway, this is what I use. We're gonna see. We're gonna assume this is 5 characters and they're level 20. And I'll put that in. I click calculate, and it gives me like the XP thresholds for the different encounter difficulties. And what I got to do over here is put the monsters in. Now let's assume with my Rakshasha that it's a CR 13, right? It's 10,000 HP. So we're going to put in the monsters HP, experience points, as I can read. And let's just say we want 5 of them. Calculate it. It's deadly. How deadly is it? Well, according to this calculator, the deadly threshold for 5 level 20s is 63,500 XP. 5 Rakshashas is 100,000, so it's about almost twice as deadly. But the big problem is that in 5th edition, all of this math falls apart horribly after about 8th level or so. So I would feel totally comfortable throwing 5 Rakshashas at my level 20s. And there's a good chance my level 20s would demolish these things. Because, let's take a look at the Rakshashas again. I know this is a big tangent, but this is interesting. This might be useful for some folks who don't calculate their monsters this way, I guess, or their encounters this way. Because here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an armor class of 16 and 110 hit points. So what's going to happen? Now, damage vulnerabilities. A piercing from magic weapons wielded by good creatures. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So anybody, any character that's good that has a piercing weapon, a magical piercing weapon, is going to do double damage to this thing. And then it says damage immunities, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. So at level 20, everybody's gotten a magical weapon, so that's pointless, right? Damage vulnerability, some people are going to do double damage. The reason I would easily throw 5 or more Rakshashas at people is that with these few hit points, at level 20, the fighter is probably going to do that much damage easily in one round and kill a Rakshasha. And the armor class is pathetic. 16 to hit is pathetic, right? So up close in melee, Rakshashas are going to go down like paper napkins. They're just going to get tore through. So you probably wouldn't want to have them in melee combat. You would want to have some sort of like frontline tanky guys in front of the Rakshashas, keeping the melees off from them. And the Rakshashas have some spellcasting abilities, so let's see if they got anything good for spellcasting. For spells, Detect Thoughts, Disguise Self, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Charm Person.
I mean, if there's a paladin in the group at level 20, that's worthless. Nobody can be charmed. I think paladins have this aura that goes out and prevents people from being charmed. Well, some of them do, at least. And everybody's saving throws are going to be super high. DC 18, everybody's going to save probably. Invisibility, major image. Major image has some possibilities. Suggestion, dominate person, fly, play. These guys are wusses. Against a group of level 20s, a level 20 party is going to tear through these things so fast. You'd have to do something creative with these guys to make this actually worth anything. So I wouldn't just throw a mob of these at level 20s. They would just destroy it. It's just going to get destroyed. Which is why, if we go back to the encounter calculator, initially I was like, meh, it's like 2 times deadly by the book, but like experientially, I know that these Rakshashas would get torn apart by my level 20 party. No problem whatsoever. So anyway, that was a big tangent. What were we talking about? Oops. What am I doing? Somebody made a comment about Rakshashas, and then I went off on a big tangent, and we looked at Rakshashas and looked at some encounter creation stuff. So there you go. All right. Somebody wanted me to look up something on eBay. I totally skipped this. Game Master's Vault. You wanted me to look up Indian puzzle locks on eBay. All right, let me take a look at that real quick. Let's go to eBay. I think I have a link to that somewhere. And if I don't, I can just type it in. eBay Indian puzzle locks. I'm not gonna. I might pull this up on the screen here for you all, but I wanna see what I actually get in the search result before I show it on the screen. Indian puzzle locks. Okay, all right, I'll throw this up on the screen. I don't know what these are, dude, but this is what he's talking about. Indian puzzle locks. Go away. I don't know what these are, but interesting. I'll take a look at this later. I don't know what those are all about, but all right, cool. I'll take a look at those and see what those are all about later. Oh man, I totally skipped. I'm skipping all over the place. Totally skipping all over the place. Wow, I'm way behind. I don't think I can end the live stream until I catch up to the comments. But the moment I catch up to the comments, I'm probably going to go to bed. Loot? Somebody said loot, and Ted's getting all excited. He's like, loot? Did you say loot? I want loot. Okay. Forgotten Realms has airships near Helura. Alright, cool. Fierce Mushroom asks, do you use custom or homebrew spells? If so, which ones and why? Well, I have an easy answer for that. I don't use custom homebrew spells. Or, what was the other question? What was the rest of part of it? My memory. It's late, guys. I'm getting tired. Do you use custom... Hey, Jonathan Thompson, what's going on, man? Sorry. He says, new DM here. Sweet. I will get to your question in just a second, man. Thanks for joining us. I love it when people are new DMs. Like, seriously, one of the main reasons that I started the YouTube channel was to help DMs, right? Get some information, help them run their games and stuff like that. And if you're a new DM and you're just looking for information to help run better games, and this is the channel for you. Like, most of the content that I put out the goal is to help you run awesome games and give you information and stuff like that. So you are in the right place, man. I'll get to your question in a moment. I read Fierce's question and I gave him a sort of an answer, but I don't think I finished it. Homebrew, custom or homebrew spells. I don't make a lot of custom or home. I don't make any custom or homebrew spells at all. I personally don't. Now, if one of my wizard characters wanted to spend some downtime to research a special spell, I would be open to that possibility. Nobody's really done that so far. I tend to, as a general rule, I don't tend to homebrew rule mechanics a whole lot. I have a couple things that are different, but for the most part, I tend to just run everything by the book because it's easier to do that way. I don't have a lot of time to change a whole bunch of mechanics anyway. I spend most of my time creating adventures for my players and like running games and stuff. And so fiddling with game mechanics kind of lies outside of what I even have time to do. And I don't do it a whole lot, to be honest with you, because the reason I like to run things by the book, honestly, and just by rules as written as much as possible when it makes sense to do so, is that it gives all players a standard reference point. They know that these are the rules in the book and Luke's going to follow the rules. And it gives them that comfort and knowledge that, you know, he's not just going to come up with some weird stuff on the fly, especially not on the fly. You know what I mean? So it gives them that comfort and that base of like, these are the rules and we're playing by the rules, you know? And so that's the reason I do it. Most stuff I have usually the homebrew rules that I do come up with in the game are to correct what I perceive as an imbalance or problem, but there are very, very few of them. But no, I don't do custom homebrew spells. I'm open to the possibility if a player wants to work on them. It'd have to be balanced, though. It would have to be balanced. All right, Jonathan Thompson, new DM here. What is a strategy to play a campaign if you only have 2 hours? How can you wrap it up on time? So, Ted's like, dang your bladder. This is like a half hour ago when I took that bathroom break. I'm so far behind on chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a professional writer. I'm not a professional reader. I'm gonna give you first, Jonathan. I'm gonna give you I made an entire video about how I run one-shot games for conventions. So that is over in my video library. You can look that up, and I kind of talk about that in a little bit of detail. So I'll reference you to that, and then I'll actually answer your question a little bit too. So the way that if I only have 2 hours, if I'm running an ongoing campaign, it's not a one-shot, it's an ongoing campaign, and I only have 2 hours to run it in, then we play for 2 hours, and we leave off, and the next time we meet, we start playing again. There is no need to, in an ongoing campaign, there is no need to finish up an adventure at a certain point. I mean, I've watched these videos on YouTube where they're talking about like designing your game sessions so that there's like a rising crescendo and you're leaving off on like some sort of like, you know, what do you want to call it, cliffhanger or something, and they're talking about like the 5 parts of a play or something like that, and how to design all of this stuff so it does all this. That's all good in theory and on paper, but like at the actual table, if you could actually manage to pull that off, that's you're a genius. So if you have an ongoing campaign and you can play for 2 hours, then I would just play for 2 hours and leave off, and then the next time you guys get back together to play. Because for my Wonder Panda campaign that I run at work, that's exactly what we do. We literally play every Thursday at lunch for 1 hour, and wherever we left off, we just pick up again and we keep playing, and it works really well. And because we meet every week, most of us have a general idea of where we left off. And so that's how I do that. Now, if you're talking about a one-shot that you're only going to have 2 hours to play for, then you're just going to design less, right? You're going to design your adventure to be like maybe 2 or 3 encounters, 2 encounters maybe, and it may or may not be combat. There's not a whole lot you can do in 2 hours for like a one-shot. Like I run at conventions frequently. Sorry, a couple times a year, and I got a 4-hour time slot. And it's hard to get one adventure done in 4 hours. Really, really hard. What I usually do when I'm trying to hit a time slot is I will have a handful of encounters set up. And when I say encounter, I'm not talking combat necessarily. It's just something that happens, right? It could be a puzzle or a role-playing encounter. Role-playing. The whole game's role-playing. I hate that. It's a social interaction thing, you know, and they have these different encounters. And as they're playing at the convention, if they're on encounter 2 or something, let's say, and time is running out and they're almost at the end, then guess what? These encounters go away. And they just never encounter them, and they go to the next one. And so I'll have a bunch of things available in my tool belt, and then as I keep an eye on the clock, and as we're going along playing, if we don't have time for things, I pull them out. And the key thing, though, is you got to make sure that these encounters that are in the middle are not necessary to the game. So the end thing is like where they actually wrap up the adventure, and the beginning is like your hook or something, right? Those things got to happen, right? These things are all optional, right? And you can run it in a sandboxy way where they might like skip to this one and then they go back to that one and whoops, that's not going to be a good symbol. We'll just not do that. But you get the point. So that's how I would run it when I have a certain time box that I got to make my adventure fit inside. So I hope that's helpful, Jonathan. All right, let's take a drink of water. Oh, whoa, holy crap. Swan Master Flex says, I am also still here now, but going to get a burger and crispy Cajun fries shortly. Man, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me. I so want to eat a hamburger right now. I think I'm gonna try to convince my wife to go to Five Guys Burger and Fries this weekend. You guys are all talking about hamburgers and stuff, and Ted's in the chat, and his last name's making me hungry. All right, We Write Weird Stuff is still here. Awesome. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, Jonathan is playing Dragon Heist. Ah! I have that book. Oh, no. I'm on a tangent again. I'm on a tangent. Where is that book? I have that book. Where's that book? You guys, I lost that book. I don't know where that book went. I'm staring at it. I'm staring at it. It's because I was looking at the spine. Check this out. I was looking at the spine, and the spine says Waterdeep first. And so, like, my brain was not... My 11:49 p.m. brain was not distinguishing that this was the Dragon Heist book. But I have this book. I have not read through it yet. My bookmark is probably about, 1/16 of the way through. But so far, I like what I'm reading. I like how it sets up... Spoiler, cover your ears for a minute if you don't want to hear this. I like how it sets up the possibility of having different main villains. And I haven't actually read through it all to see how that plays out, but just the idea that you can choose amongst different main villains for the adventure sounds really cool to me. And so I will be playing through this with my Manus Invictus group at some point here. Probably we won't get into it until January or February next year. Right now, my Manus Invictus group is all level 20, and so how often do you get to level 20 in a campaign? Like, seriously. We've been playing for about 3 years now, and we got to level 20, and so now I'm running some, like, high level 20 stuff for them because, and I can actually throw crazy stuff at them and use some of these high-level monsters. Morning Canaan's Tome of Foes is full of high-level monsters, so we might be doing some level 20 play for a while before I ever get to Dragon Heist, but I plan on running that with them at some point. So, anyway, there was a tangent for you. What are you talking about? Ted Berger says, oh, he's probably talking about the dragon. He says, dang, that thing looks sexy. He's talking about the dragon. It is all metal. Oh, awesome. It feels all metal, dude. It totally feels all metal. Poor Ted. Game Master is probably saying poor Ted because I'm like, he's giving me like dragons and stuff, and I still won't give him a deck of many things. Oh, so Jonathan says they played the Sunless Citadel as a start. That took 3 sessions. Really? Wow. Because I read through that. That is in Tales of the, what the heck is that called? Yawning Portal. Tales of the Yawning Portal, and I thought that looked like a long adventure, but I could be mistaken. Please call this group of Rakshashas the Furious Five. Awesome, Swan Master Flex. That's great. Yes, you can use Kobold Fight Club for D&D. You can. I tend to use that for random encounters and stuff, mostly when I'm playing, but you could definitely use that. I don't know how that works as far as, like, designing something when you know exactly the monster in the CR. I don't play around with that a whole lot, to be honest with you. I don't use a lot of random encounters in my game. My players think they're random encounters because I'm like rolling dice and I'm having them roll dice and they have no idea what the dice mean, and I'm never going to tell them what the dice mean. But then occasionally there's a random encounter, and the random encounter is an encounter that Luke planned for them to randomly encounter, because the beauty of random encounters is you can use monsters and stuff that you might not ever otherwise use in a game, because it's not part of the campaign or not part of the module or something. I don't know. But anyway, someday I will reveal my method for determining whether there is a random encounter or not. Oh, what's going on? I think I'm down to the... Oh, I'm to the bottom of the chat. Oh my gosh. I thought I'd never get here. Wait, no I'm not. Yeah, I am. I'm at the bottom of the chat now. Or download Combat Manager from Kyle Olsen for Pathfinder. Game Master says, I don't make encounters based on CR. The only unfair fight is one where the PCs have no option to run. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. The problem is that in 5th edition, running is horrible. Like, the running mechanic is bad. Like, I try to have my monsters run all the time. They never get away. They never get away. Once you start to run, if you resolve it in battle rounds and stuff, I mean, if you drop to, like, narration to narrate them running away and then give them a fighting chance, then, yeah, that'll work. But strictly by battle mechanics, running, like, is never going to work. Because even if they have ranged weapons and stuff, it's I don't know, it gets noodly, but whatever. Keep reading here. Fierce Mushroom says the climax of Lawrence's quest pitted the party against Lawrence. Roughly 12 assorted sailors and had the added difficulty of first having to board the enemy ship under cannon fire. Oh, he's talking about his ship one. I'm getting so tired. Bye, chat. And in 30 minutes, when he catches up, bye, DM Lair guy. Awesome. See you later, Swap Master Flex. I think I'm caught up now. I totally legitimately think I'm caught up. The end of the campaign I'm starting comes when the players choose a side and fight out the revolution for or against whoever. Okay. I'm tired and I'm forgetting the context of some of these things, so some of this stuff isn't clicking for me. I really try to avoid random encounters during a game. Never mind, we're on the same page. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Most of my random encounters are planned encounters. They don't always have anything to do with the plot devices and stuff, but usually they're planned to some extent or another. And the reason that when I design adventures I have random encounters is not necessarily that I'm going to use random encounters, but like if the players decide they're going to take a long rest in the middle of a dungeon, then I can pull those random encounters to repopulate parts of the dungeon so that they're not going against like the big bad at the end at full strength and whatnot. There's an attrition that needs to happen to make some of those in combats meaningful and challenging for them. Let's see. Game Master Vault says you can't stop. It's not March yet. I don't get that. Sorry. It's probably not going to be funny if you explain it to me. I don't really have random encounters. Everything is planned meticulously. I'm a planner too, dude. Fierce, I am such a planner. That's so true. Although, for my Wonder Panda campaign, I plan a lot less. I plan very little for my Wonder Panda campaign. It's the one I run at work for some coworkers, and I don't have time to plan intricate detail for 4 campaigns. It's crazy. So that's much more the planning I do is very lightweight. So we write weird stuff. All right, Fierce, see you later, man. It's late for me too. I'm probably going to end this in about 4 minutes, guys, because it's like midnight and I probably should go to bed. We write weird stuff. DM'd me something on Facebook. I'm going to go pop over there real quick and see what he sent me. Oh, I've seen this before. Somebody else sent this to me. I'm going to show you guys this. This is interesting. The Arrowhead of Total Destruction. I know I've seen this before. So the way this works is that this is an arrowhead. There's a tube here that has a portable hole in it. And then there's a thing inside that holds a small bag of holding that's open. And what happens is you take this little pin out, apparently, and when this arrow hits, this tube with the portable hole gets jettisoned inside the bag of holding. And there's this thing in D&D mechanics where if you put interdimensional things inside of each other, like a portable hole in this case and a bag of holding, they will open up a rift to, like, what, the astral plane? Yeah, the astral plane, and suck everything inside. And so, I mean, this is a cool way to fight stuff if you can get both a portable hole and a bag of holding, and your DM doesn't say no. You can kill some stuff with that. That'd be pretty cool. So, that's awesome. All right, I'm curious. It's really late. We still have 8 people watching. Why are you guys watching this? Man, it's like midnight. Well, if you're on the Pacific Coast, it's not midnight for you, is it? You guys are like 4 hours behind, so it's actually 8 o'clock. So it's like early for you if you're like in California or something watching. All right, I'm almost to the end here. I got a few minutes left in me, and then I'm gonna call it. Unless we get something really interesting or some crazy question or something. Oh, somebody's got a question. Somebody's got a question. Game Master's Vault says, question, how often do you work in character backstory arcs into your average session? Do they take turns finding things out or a little bit throughout the whole campaign? So generally, oh, I just lost focus. There you go. See, smile, and the focus comes back on the camera. So generally what I do, I'm going to show you, sometimes I get these really awesome backstories from my players. When a player takes the time to make a backstory, I usually try to honor that and do stuff in the game with it. Many times it turns into side adventures that have something to do with the backstory. For instance, one of the players in the Sword Coast Guard, his backstory was that he came from a thieves guild, and his thieves guild got like overtaken by another thieves guild, and he had to flee the city, and that was his backstory. And so he had an entire adventure where that same thieves guild that took over his thieves guild got taken over in turn and left that city and was now in Waterdeep. And he found out about that thieves guild, and it had some of his former companions from his backstory. And then he had a personal interest in rescuing them, and the entire party ended up going on an adventure. That was actually the adventure. That's actually the adventure that I showed you guys. Hold on a second. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. That's this adventure, the Velvet Fists. This entire 26-page adventure that I wrote is based on a backstory that a player wrote. So I completely try to honor player backstories and do stuff in-game because of player backstories. Absolutely. If somebody takes the time to write out a backstory and stuff, then I think that it's upon me as a DM to honor that and do something with it. Now, it might not always be like a huge adventure like this. I remember one time somebody had a backstory where he was like a dwarf who like betrayed somebody and got him killed, and then I had that same person come back as a revenant with some other people with him, and they had a little fight and stuff, and it was a very small little thing, but even those small gestures that show that you read the backstory and that you worked something into the game, you know, it means a lot to the players. And you know, almost every time that I do something from a player's backstory and work it in, the players are like, hey, thanks, you know, that was cool, I like that, you know, so they're always appreciative of that. So I would, at any time that you can, and I don't tend to like work the backstory stuff in organically per se, like it just happens to show up in the current campaign. I'll just create little separate side arc adventures for those backstories. What I tend to do. So, but I definitely do stuff with backstories. Not always. Like I'm sure the moment that I say that I do stuff with the backstories, one of my players is gonna be like, "Well, Luke, I wrote a backstory and nothing ever happened with it." So I do the best I can. You know, you can't. You do what you can. You know what I mean? I know. Ted, his very first character, he wrote a big, massive backstory for, and then that character I think probably died or something before I could do anything with it. And now he just makes new characters like almost every game session. So I don't think he makes backstories anymore. And if he did, I'd probably ignore them because he's always making new characters. All right. So Mike says that it's almost 9 in California. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you guys are 3 hours behind. All right. Takes the time. I make all players have a backstory we make together. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't require my players to have backstories. Backstories are the thing. And the reason I make it optional is that some players like doing that sort of thing. Other players don't really care about it. I mean, they're different. And it's totally your approach is totally cool. I'm not at all saying there's anything wrong with that. This is just my own personal preference. But the way I kind of look at it is that there are lots of different player types. Some players show up because they just want to hang out with friends and they don't really care about anything else. Other players show up because they're there, they love combat and they just want to kick down doors, they want to kill monsters, they want to get loot, they want to get more powerful and stuff.
and backstory and role playing is like, meh, who cares? You know, some players, if you make them write a backstory, they're not going to enjoy it. They're not going to care about it. You know, other players are like, that's everything. Their character and their backstory and role playing that stuff, and they love that stuff. And so the reason I don't like require it is just that, you know, if you want to do it, you know, then great, and we'll do something with that, and we'll work with you. If you don't care about that, and there are other parts of the game that appeal to you, great. Let's do that. And so I just leave it open to my players. They make the choice whether it's something they value and we're going to do, or it's something, if it's not, then they don't do it. So, I mean, it's fair to say have a backstory too. So I think it's a valid approach. I just leave it to my players. I let them make the choice. But they know that if they do make a backstory and they give me things in that backstory to do stuff with, they're gonna get something special out of it too. So yeah, ask them questions and their answers to their backstory. Yeah, I have a document somewhere that's like a little teaser thing to help people make backstories. Yeah, make sure the backstory fits with your world, and also not just even beyond fitting with your world, making sure that it maybe fits with the campaign you're running, or it fits with like the group. Using backstories as a way, as a mechanic to like get the characters to play together well as a group might be a thing too. You know, if they have something in their backstories that pulls them together as a party. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 12 o'clock, and I'm getting tired, and we got 7 people watching, which means people are getting tired too, because we used to have 8. So I think I'm gonna end it, guys. This has been lots of fun. Next Friday we're gonna create an adventure together. So we're gonna do that next Friday at like 8:00 p.m. Eastern time is the plan, and we're gonna make an entire adventure together. So this was enjoyable for me, guys. It was fun hanging out and just talking about random stuff. I hope you found this somewhat. I mean, you're here, so maybe you found it interesting. But we will see you next time. And I think that's all I got. Thanks for hanging out, guys. This was fun. I'm exhausted. And I think that's all I got. So I'm just going to click the stop recording or stop streaming button. And we will see you next Friday.